Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Hokage, Annihilation of Everything. Chapter 101. Several transparent wind-style bullets shot out quickly. The trajectory of the transparent bullets that shot out quickly was difficult to catch with the naked eye. However, Luo Chuan's white eyes could clearly see the trajectory of chakra. Although the form of vacuum sphere is transparent, it is essentially the result of chakra nature transformation, and it must be carried with chakra to be formed. It was easy to evade the vacuum sphere's attack. Luo Chuan advanced instead of retreating and sprinted towards Danzo. Fire-style Great Fireball Technique. After forming a seal with both hands, chakra condensed in the throat and ejected in one breath, forming a fireball with a diameter of 3 meters, and quickly flew towards Danzo. Whoosh! Those few vacuum sphere attacks passed through the fireball, but they did not cause much impact on the fireball. HMPH. Danzo snorted. The fireball was huge and had a clear target. He could easily avoid it. Body flicker technique avoided the fireball and suddenly appeared on the side more than 10 meters away from Luo Chuan, staring eagerly. It was just a small test just now. The power of this quasi-shadow powerhouse is not that fragile. If it really breaks out, there are really not many people who can resist his attack. At least, the research room will be destroyed soon. Danzo's heart is also a little unstable. What Luo Chuan did in Cloud Shinobi Village 2 years ago shocked the entire ninja world, and his ability to silently annihilate everything frightened him. There are too many powerful ninjutsu in the ninja world that can have such an effect, but their disappearance without a sound can cause extreme fear in people's hearts. This was just a kid, a 10-year-old kid, but he actually achieved such an achievement, which made him deeply dissatisfied and shocked by the other person's talent. In the final analysis, it should be the effect of those strange white eyes. This is why he must get Luo Chuan. If he fails to get these eyes, it will be a lifelong regret. Luo Chuan looked at Danzo, with a flash of disdain and ridicule in his eyes, and said, "Danzo, go ahead, don't waste time. Time is precious. If you delay it longer, the higher-ups in Konoha will definitely notice it and come here to stop it. Before that happens, Danzo must be killed." This ridicule and disdain stung Danzo. A kid dared to show such a look in front of him. Do you really think he is a cabbage? You can chop him as much as you want. However, he also has a good character. He is scheming and will not be easily angered by such an expression. Instead, he becomes calmer. Whoosh! Danzo rushed over and quickly formed a seal with his hands, wind-style vacuum wave. He took a sudden breath, tilted his head, and spit out a long wind blade from his mouth, quickly cutting towards Luo Chuan. The wind blade's cutting ability is naturally powerful. Luo Chuan did not confront the wind blade head-on. He jumped up and avoided the wind blade's attack, and instead threw 2 kunai out. Danzo didn't have any worries about the kunai that was shooting at him. He flicked his head again, and the wind blade quickly changed direction, cutting off the 2 kunai, and at the same time continued to attack Luo Chuan. Continuous ninjutsu is really troublesome. Vacuum wave is a more troublesome ninjutsu, unless you are very close to the opponent, otherwise it will be more troublesome. Luo Chuan approached decisively and ducked to avoid the wind blade when it came towards him. Boom! The wind blade bombarded the ground, immediately raising thick dust. The ground in front was cut by the wind blade with a terrifying wound, which made people break out in cold sweat. The dust could not block Luo Chuan's sight, so he rushed past the dust. But just as he rushed out of the dust, Danzo's other technique was ready. Wind-style vacuum waves. Whoosh! Several wind blades flew together towards Luo Chuan at an extremely fast speed, making it difficult to retreat. Byakugan double revolving heaven. Threads of chakra spurt out from all the major acupuncture points of the body, like a series of exercises, blooming with endless chakra light, and the research room is reflected transparently. The blue chakra turned into a circular shield. The violently rotating chakra stirred the air. The violent whirlwind kept blowing everything nearby, seeming to tear the air apart. The sharp wind blade was bounced away the moment it touched the double revolving heaven, almost decapitating Danzo's head. Danzo, who barely avoided the rebound, retreated more than 10 meters away. His face was gloomy when he saw the blue chakra shield. It turns out to be the secret technique of the Hyuga clan. What a scary kid. Revolving heaven has strong defense and is difficult to crack. The simple revolving heaven Danzo is still capable of cracking, but the current revolving heaven is different from the simple revolving heaven this week. This is an absolute defense that even third Hokage's second hand can withstand. Now that 2 years have passed, he is even confident of the current Hokage's first hand. Danzo, how can it be cracked? Danzo, who couldn't think of any way to crack revolving heaven, felt a little anxious. Qianyang, who was watching the battle at the exit, also sighed repeatedly. He couldn't defeat Luo Chuan, and he couldn't defeat Luo Chuan. Even though he was a cage-level expert now, he thought he couldn't defeat Luo Chuan. Although there are no high-level ninjutsu at this moment, judging from the double revolving heaven, he cannot break through the defense. Luo Chuan has already stood at a height that he needs to look up to, and this height is still rising. Danzo continued to attack without. Luo Chuan's high-speed rotating body stopped, and the blue chakra immediately dispersed. Boom! The scattered blue chakra flew out, like a sharp knife cutting tofu, easily turning everything within 10 meters into powder. Hiss! Danzo took a breath. This revolving heaven can not only defend, but also attack. What's going on? Revolving heaven with the wind attribute added. This kid has changed this secret technique, and the change is still so terrifying. On the basis of defense, wind-style chakra is added to form attack power. It is easy to understand, but it is too difficult to carry out. Fire-style big flame bullet. The Great Flame Bullet is a B-level ninjutsu, a ninjutsu that only Jonin can master proficiently. The flame temperature of the big flame bullet is higher, and the lethality is also greater. Luo Chuan spurted a raging pillar of fire from his mouth to form a huge fire bomb. The appearance of the big fire bomb distorted the air and carbonized the objects. The corpses of the several ninjas who originally fell on the ground were also roasted into kurozumi at this time. The appearance of this ninjutsu once again made Danzo sigh in his heart. If such a ninjutsu is used in this relatively small laboratory, it will easily destroy the laboratory. This was a laboratory he had worked so hard to build, a laboratory he had spent countless efforts building. How could it be destroyed so easily? Water-style water dragon bomb technique. When dealing with fire-style, water-style is the best way. A ferocious water dragon was summoned out of thin air. In this area with no water source, such a water dragon with a length of more than 20 meters has been replaced. It can be seen that his chakra is also extremely large and his control over the chakra is also extremely strong. Boom! Water dragon whizzed past, bared its teeth and claws, and collided with the big flame bomb, causing a burst of explosions. In an instant, white water vapor and chakra light were seen rising continuously. The water vapor covered the entire laboratory, making it difficult to distinguish the range of people. The water dragon was not at a disadvantage in the collision with the big flame bomb. After a short stalemate, they both disappeared. Seeing this, Luo Chuan curled his lips and smiled. Danzo is good at using wind style, but is weak to other escape techniques. This water style is also one of the powerful escape techniques that he can barely use. Danzo's heart sank. Only when the water vapor gradually dissipated did he see Luo Chuan clearly. The most conspicuous thing is naturally the sarcastic smile. It seemed that everything just happened was part of his calculations, which made him, a scheming old fox, feel uncomfortable. The dignified second in command in Konoha was now being teased by a brat. The humiliation was simply unbearable. Without saying a word, he launched another attack, and Luo Chuan did not fall behind, and the two quickly fought together. Qianyang, who was at the exit, looked at him and praised him repeatedly. Danzo didn't notice his existence, or in other words, he didn't have the intention to pay attention to it now. Luo Chuan's power has actually increased to this level. This is just like my guess. It can help me become a cage-level strongman. How can it be below cage level? It seemed that Luo Chuan's power had been determined, but he also felt sad in his heart. I have lived for decades, but I can't compare to a 10-year-old child. No matter how hardworking and heaven-defying this kid is, he still can't produce such a strong force. It's so exciting. The entire Hyuga clan, no, it should be said that the entire ninja world, may only have such a heaven-defying ghost group. Even the former first generation, second Hokage, or today's demigods do not have such heaven-defying talents. They possess cage-level power at the age of 10. However, no matter how shocked he was, he also knew clearly that this would be of great benefit to the Hyuga clan. A talent like him will be a dazzling star no matter where he goes. While he was marveling, the sound of rapid footsteps suddenly came from the long and narrow passage, which made his expression change. Turning around quickly, he saw some people through a ray of light. A dozen ninjas he was very familiar with, led by Konoha's top leader, Third Hokage. When Third Hokage saw Hyuga Kianyang in front of him, his face suddenly darkened and he shouted, "Kianyang, what are you doing?" His plan had already been arranged, but now that it was disrupted by Hyuga Kianyang, how much damage would it cause? It was no wonder that he had a lot of anger in his heart. Hyuga Kianyang curled his lips. He was very familiar with Hokage and naturally knew what Third Hokage wanted to say. He glanced at the people in front of him. Third Hokage, Orochimaru, Tsunade, Jiraiya, Hitachi Shisho, and many other familiar jonin. These people are the high-end combat forces in the village. If they take action, it will not be good. Master Hokage, why don't you rest at this late hour? It's better for the old man to go to bed early. It's better for your health. What Qian Yang said was completely out of tune, and Hokage's face darkened. He is now in his prime, okay. It's a time when he is full of energy. Before he could speak, several jonin saw the fighting inside and immediately rushed in. However, Qian Yang stood directly in front of them and said calmly, "Everyone, something is happening inside now, so we can't go in. It won't be too late to go in after the problem is solved." Thousand Suns. Master Hokage, this is my attitude. I will make a detailed report on the specific situation after the matter here is dealt with. Master Hokage, Danzo must die. The third Hokage had a gloomy face, and his eyes were complicated and difficult to understand. When the few ninjas who were blocked saw this situation, Mr. Hokage did not speak, and they could only continue to act. Revolving Heaven. Qian Yang was even more decisive, blocking here and directly casting Revolving Heaven. There wasn't much space in this passage, and now he has used Revolving Heaven to block the entrance. If he wants to go in, he can only break through his defense. What does the head of the Hyuga family want to do? Jiraiya is a little confused and wants to start a conflict with the village. Orochimaru smiled sinisterly and said, "Who knows, but this Revolving Heaven is not so easy to break through. It seems that we can only wait." The reason why Qian Yang cast Revolving Heaven is very simple, that is, Danzo must die. Today has reached this point. If Danzo does not die, the Hyuga clan will be in huge trouble, and may even be expelled from Konoha. The third Hokage finally stopped everyone from forcing their way in, but his eyes turned to the research room, and his expression changed at this sight. Other people noticed and looked over. Likewise, everyone has the same expression as the third Hokage. Danzo, I'm going to kill this old guy. Although the laboratory has been almost destroyed by ninjutsu, there are many research materials in it, and some of them are still preserved for people to see clearly. On those torture racks, skinny ninjas were hung up one by one, and deep despair could be seen in their eyes. This is Danzo's territory. The presence of these things here can only mean one thing, that is, the experiments conducted by Danzo actually used living bodies as research materials. Moreover, most of these living bodies are ninjas from Konoha. We both belong to the same ninja village and have infinite love for this village. Now that this situation has occurred, it is difficult for everyone present to accept it. Jiraiya even wanted to rush in and have a fight with Danzo, but Qianyang was blocking it and he couldn't get in at all. "Teacher, catch that guy Danzo and beat him hard for doing such a heinous thing to a ninja in the village." Tsunade knew very well that most of those were elite ninjas in the village, or ninjas with some special abilities. Danzo has been committed to researching the limits of blood inheritance, and she is very clear about this matter. But before, I was unable to grasp the handle, so I had no choice but to do anything to Danzo. Now that so many people have seen it, third Hokage must give an explanation. Hitachi Shigesaku also had a stern face. He was full of hope for this village and had been sacrificing his life and blood for this village. But now it happened that Konoha high-level officials attacked the village ninja for their own selfish interests, which made him feel a kind of extremely intense anger. The atmosphere at the scene was getting more and more heated, and third Hokage knew that he had to make a choice at this moment. After thinking about it, third Hokage said, "What Danzo did was a heinous crime. It seriously violated the discipline of the village and endangered the safety of the village. Hereby, Danzo is removed from his position as the root leader, and Danzo is killed to avenge the innocent ninjas in the village. After saying such words, everyone became excited. This was the ending they expected. Anyone who does something detrimental to the village must eventually accept sanctions from the village. Hitaki Shigesaku also thinks so. Needless to say, his reputation among Konoha is that he is a strong taijutsu player, outstanding in ninjutsu, and his strength can be called heaven-defying. Even if Master Hokage fights him, it will take a lot of effort, the power of. Inside, the battle between Hyuga Luo Chuan and Shimura Danzo has entered its final part. Danzo's close combat ability is relatively weak, while Luo Chuan is powerful in close combat, whether it's the Hyuga clan's gentle fist method or the 8 inner gates, or even the nintai technique he got from Cloud Shinobi Village. Rely. After the first close combat, Danzo felt that this kid was completely unable to get rid of him. No matter how fast he was, he would eventually be entangled with him. You kid. Summoning technique. Danzo's temper gradually became violent, and his mentality was no longer so stable. Anyone who fights a brat to this extent will be suffocating with anger. Huge white smoke rose, like a soaring dragon. Summoning technique summoned his summoning beast, a dream taper, the legendary Dream Eater. After the Dream Demon appeared, it immediately locked its target and sucked Luo Chuan with its huge mouth. In an instant, an extremely strong suction force suddenly appeared, and everything around it continued to enter its mouth, and was eventually swallowed. Luo Chuan also sensed this suction. His face darkened, an idea flashed in his mind, and he quickly formed seals with his hands. Fire-style Great Fireball technique. The chakra continuously outputs a ball of flame and then expands into a huge great fireball with a diameter of 5 meters. It's such a big great fireball technique. Its power may reach B-level ninjutsu. Danzo has been around for many years, how could he not know the power of this fire-style ninjutsu when he saw it? However, as long as Meng Taper is around, he has strong self-confidence. Once a human body is sucked in, it will eventually be digested by the Dream Taper. This is the terrifying power of the Dream Taper, which absorbs everything into its belly and finally digests everything. Moreover, its stomach never seems to be full, and it can suck in no matter how much food there is. The power of a fireball with a diameter of 5 meters is absolutely terrifying, but the powerful attraction of the Dream Taper is also fierce, but the fireball is quickly sucked into it. After absorbing the flame, Mengtape burped and seemed very satisfied with the fireball. Danzo even laughed and said, "Little kid, although the Dream Taper is not the strongest summoning beast, its ability is definitely the strongest. With my wind-style ninjutsu, you have no chance of winning." Quote. Really? Luo Chuan smiled faintly, the sarcasm on his lips became more obvious. His eyes glanced at the passage and then back again, and said calmly, "Unfortunately, there seems to be something wrong with your Dream Taper." As soon as he finished speaking, the Dream Taper suddenly let out a long cry, and then its body swelled up. Finally, its body exploded, and blood and pieces of flesh were scattered all over the floor. The shock wave of the explosion shook Danzo unsteadily, and flames even appeared in the body of the Dream Taper. Quote. Danzo didn't understand that his powerful summoning beast could be broken by a simple ninjutsu. This was something he couldn't understand. Fire can rely on wind. Your Dream Taper is of wind nature. There is probably a huge wind-style chakra in Nuohao, its body. After the fireball enters, it will naturally expand. Luo Chuan explained briefly, and then in Danzo's stunned look, layers of arcs suddenly appeared around the body surface, making a crackling sound. Lightning-style chakra mode. The proud move of the third Raikage. But now this technique appears on Luo Chuan. Danzo's face was extremely ugly. Those people in the passage were even more shocked after seeing the thunder and lightning, especially after seeing Luo Chuan clearly. It goes without saying that they were shocked. Danzo, you can report to the committee. After Luo Chuan finished speaking, he suddenly stepped on the ground with his feet, and his body flew up into the air. I saw lightning flashing and the lightning-style chakra raging. When I looked again, I saw a figure passing through Danzo's body. As the lightning flashed past, Danzo's eyes widened with deep fear in his pupils, and he shouted, "No!" However, the lightning passed through in just an instant, and Luo Chuan was already standing behind him, with arcs of electricity emitting from his body. Lightning-style chakra mode, as fast as ultimate, is not something Danzo can resist. A gap the size of a football appeared on Danzo's chest, and blood flowed down from the empty gap like a stream. I can't believe it, I can't believe that I will be killed by the enemy in such a short time. Danzo considers himself the top powerhouse in the ninja world, and there are really very few people who can defeat him. However, today's battle cost him his life. Boom! The body collapsed. The second in command of Konoha, the man who covered the sky with one hand in Konoha and manipulated countless elites and talents into his hands, fell with his sins. The vitality gradually passed away, and his heart was filled with unwillingness and resentment. I haven't killed the Uchiha clan yet, I haven't become Hokage yet, I'm not willing to give in, I'm not willing to give in. After muttering, Luo Chuan turned around and sneered, you want to become a Hokage? It's a daydream. Also, the Uchiha clan is not something you can control. You want to destroy the Uchiha clan now. What a joke. Danzo was silent for a moment, his energy surged, blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and finally he said, the Uchiha clan has plotted a rebellion. Naturally, I want to get rid of the Uchiha clan for the village, but there is no chance. Hyuga Luo Chuan, you caused everything. As a result of. There is a lot of resentment, and in his opinion, he is the one who should be the Hokage. When he was young, he paid a lot for the position of Hokage, but in the end, second Hokage passed the position of Hokage to Sarutobi Hiruzen, and he missed the position of Hokage. From that time on, the seeds of hatred had taken root and sprouted in his heart, and gradually grew stronger. So far, he is fully prepared and his strength is constantly rising. He has even studied the wood style of the first generation and the blood inheritance of other ninjas in the village in order to obtain the most perfect blood inheritance limit. However, Luo Chuan put an end to all this. Hearing Danzo's words, Luo Chuan's heart moved. Is the Feng Zibo clan ready to rebel? How come the time is so far ahead of time? Is there something wrong with them turning into enemies? Having just returned to Konoha, he still doesn't know enough about the Uchiha clan. He doesn't know if the current person in power has changed, or who the successor is. Now that such a thing suddenly broke out, it really surprised him. The Ninja World War is imminent. Could it be that the Uchiha clan wants to take advantage of the chaos to rise up and take over the position of Konoha Hokage? As the saying goes, heroes emerge from troubled times, this possibility still exists. Taking advantage of the chaos of the Ninja World War and the chaos in various ninja villages, when Konoha's defenses are empty, they can either kidnap the Hokage, or destroy the Hokage, and attack and kill all opponents. In this way, Konoha will be owned by the Uchiha clan. Thank you very much for sharing this important information. In return, I will give it to you. Luo Chuan condensed a transparent barrier in his hand, which immediately enveloped Danzo's body and began to rapidly decompose. At the same time, the other hand quickly formed the seal, fire-style Great Fireball technique. A huge fireball appeared again, burning the surrounding corpses cleanly. Shrouded in the dust barrier, Danzo experienced endless panic in the last moments of his life. His body was shattered and his soul was destroyed. After doing this, Luo Chuan walked towards the passage, where there were still many things to do. Hokage's office. Hokage and other powerful people have returned here. Except for a few people, everyone else has a gloomy face. Third Hokage smoked a cigarette and looked at the night outside the window, speechless for a long time. Hyuga Qianyang and Hyuga Luo Chuan are also here. They didn't have much communication at the base, but chose to come back here. After a long time, Third Hokage withdrew his gaze and fell on Hyuga Qianyang. Qianyang, tell me why you must do this, everything tonight, how do you explain? The tone is calm and tepid. This shinobu hero is suppressing his anger, and his countless plans have been in vain with tonight's actions. Hyuga Qianyang glanced at Luo Chuan and said calmly, Master Hokage, this is not my plan, but arranged by Luo Chuan. Third Hokage turned his head and looked at Luo Chuan, uncertain. Luo Chuan smiled strangely and said, yes, this is my plan. Danzo will definitely die. No one can stop him from surviving. This matter is a foregone conclusion and no one can change it. It's a foregone conclusion. What happened tonight is a foregone conclusion. The third Hokage was furious when he heard this, and shouted, Luo Chuan, do you think Konoha belongs to you? You can do whatever you want. Of course, Konoha does not belong to me, but it cannot belong to Danzo, right? Master Hokage, you must have seen clearly the things in Gen's Research Institute. This is what you have grown up with. Friends, these are the friends you think you know very well. Except for those inside, I don't know how many people in Konoha have sacrificed their lives because of Danzo's selfish interests. If Danzo is still alive, I don't know how many of you here will survive. How difficult is it? I'm really curious, Hotake Shigesaku, how long can you survive Danzo's conspiracy? Orochimaru, can you escape Danzo's conspiracy? Tsunade, as the granddaughter of the first generation, you it seems to be hindering Danzo. Jiraiya, how long can you survive under the siege of countless ninjas? These sudden words caught people off guard. Hotake Shigesaku didn't expect that he would be involved, while Orochimaru smiled and seemed to be thinking about something. Tsunade and Jiraiya don't know why. What does this have to do with them? Hyuga Luo Chuan, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? As the second in command of Konoha, he is thinking about getting rid of some thorns in the side during the Ninja World War. Hey, he is really a Hokage assistant who thinks about the future of the village. Luo Chuan looked sarcastic, took out a scroll from his clothes and threw it on the desk. An information scroll was thrown on the desk. The third Hokage took it over and looked at it. He glanced at it casually and could no longer shift his gaze. Shock, anger, and confusion appeared in his sharp and determined eyes. The content of this information scroll made him froze in place, and also aroused the curiosity of many powerful people. What kind of information could make Lord Hokage so rude? How could this happen? After reading the information, Hokage couldn't help but tremble, and the scroll in his hand fell to the desk, rolled to the ground, and fell to Hotake Shigesaku's feet. Hotake Shisho instinctively picked up the scroll and looked at it carefully. Several other ninjas also came over to check. Asshole. A Jonin who saw the first piece of information cursed angrily, but then looked at it and everyone present turned pale. Hotake Maosho closed the scroll and asked Luo Chuan seriously, Luo Chuan, where did you get this scroll? Where else can I get it? Of course I got it from Raikage's office, otherwise what do you think? Luo Chuan was neither humble nor arrogant, and was not intimidated by his momentum at all. This further increases the credibility of this information, but how did he get this information from Raikage's office? Raikage's office is not accessible casually. How did you? Do you still need to ask? Since I can cause damage to Cloud Shinobi Village, I can naturally enter Raikage's office. I believe Master Hokage will not have any doubts about this information, after all, there is a personal letter in it. Luo Chuan scoffed inwardly, and third Hokage nodded with difficulty, saying, yes, this is indeed his handwritten letter. Hiss. There was a gasp in the office. Master Hokage confirmed it, so there is no need to doubt the authenticity of this information. The content of this information is related to most of the people present, just like what Luo Chuan said just now, Hotake Shigesaku, Orochimaru, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and other elite ninjas. This is not just an intelligence, but a list, a death list. Luo Chuan got too much information from Raikage's office. A lot of the information in it was from 2 years ago, and the one that caught his attention more was this information. It contains detailed records of each person's name, age, strength, ninja, body, illusion, and weaknesses, etc. Those people are all the strong men of Konoha, they are all the talents of Konoha, and they are all the future of Konoha. However, now the information about these people has been leaked, and they have also become members of the death list. The person who wrote these contents is Konoha's Hokage assistant, Shimura Danzo. The people on the list are all from the Hokage camp, so it's no wonder that everyone is angry and in disbelief. Master Hokage, do you still think there is something wrong with my information? Of course, if you want more information, then I don't mind providing it. Luo Chuan seems to have taken the lead here, and his understatement has another meaning. This death list alone is enough to kill Danzo thousands of times. His behavior is destroying the village and pushing the village into despair. Of course, the third Hokage knew very well the reason why he did this, which was to kill the people in the Hokage camp, thereby forcing the third Hokage to step down, and he would naturally become the fourth Hokage. People from the Danzo camp and the Hokage camp have been fighting for many years, but they have basically fought within the village. They never thought that someone would join forces with foreign enemies to trap and kill the village's elite ninjas. This information was from 2 years ago. The content was that after the war broke out, while the ninja world was in chaos, Cloud Shinobi Village did not participate in the first war, and instead secretly killed Konoha's elite. Wait until the time is right to participate in the war and let the war finally end. Cooperation with Hokage Danzo gave many benefits, such as cooperation with Cloud Shinobi Village after the war, and even gave some land as a price. This is not allowed by anyone, not only the village, but also the daimyo. Luo Chuan, you did this right. The third Hokage's words were full of bitterness. What else could he say besides saying this now? It's just a pity that Danzo's roots can be used to contribute to many people in the village. Luo Chuan seemed to see third Hokage's distress, and looked at Hyuga Qianyang. Hyuga Qianyang immediately stood up and said, Lord Hokage, after the war breaks out, I will lead the elites of the Hyuga clan to take the lead and take Gen's place. Qianyang, you. The third Hokage's eyes moved. Qianyang, what does this mean? If the elites of the Hyuga clan take the lead, the only ones who will lose will be the Hyuga clan. Hyuga Qianyang smiled lightly and said, I'm very lucky, I just broke through the shackles not long ago. As he spoke, chakra spurted out from various acupuncture points. The blue chakra burned like a flame on his body, and his body also exuded a very strong aura. Breaking through the shackles, Hokage's expression changed. Hyuga Qianyang's strength has been stuck at the peak of quasi-shadow for a long time, and he knows this very well. Now that he has broken through the shackles, it means that he has officially entered the ranks of cage-level experts. Another cage-level strongman has been added to the village. Hokage was excited, and the depression just now was gone. Hitaki Shigesaku nodded deeply. No wonder Hyuga Qianyang dared to attack Danzo. It turned out that he had already broken through to the ranks of cage-level experts. Since everything is like this, as a ninja in the village, it seems that I have to make some contributions to the village. Third Hokage, how about letting me participate in the war? You. Luo Chuan smiled lightly and nodded. Yes, I am participating in the war. If nothing else happens, it seems that the war will break out soon. Forget it, you should practice more. How about you stay with Tsunade? Really, but it seems that I can also lead a team. Fortunately, I am also a quasi-shadow. After saying that, the chakra is also released from the major acupuncture points. Now, it is time to walk to the stage. As for this move and his words, everyone present was once again confused. Quisiying, a 10-year-old powerful Quisiying, has the world gone crazy? Extremely intelligent, a genius. It seems difficult to describe Luo Chuan's achievements at this moment. Everyone is frightened. Konoha's new star is rising. This should be an exciting thing, but now everyone has an instinctive fear, a fear of the unknown, fear. He has already achieved such achievements at the age of 10. If he had been given a few more years, would he have become a cage-level expert? However, they didn't know that although Luo Chuan revealed his strength, he did not reveal his true strength. The power of being able to fight against cage-level experts is even more shocking. Such strength has surpassed countless people present. Based on his current ability, there are very few people here who can survive the struggle. Dust Release, Byakugan, 8 Inner Gates, Laden Chakra Mode, Ninjutsu. If several of the most powerful powers are used one after another, who else can stop him? Perhaps, only the legendary strong men can compete with him, which is why he is confident that when he faces Hokage again, he will be able to fight or even kill him. The third Hokage was shocked for several minutes. Then he took a deep breath to calm down the shock and said slowly, Luo Chuan, are you really willing to participate in the war? Of course, third Hokage, reasonable arrangement of talents is crucial. In addition, there is one thing that must be explained before that. The Uchiha clan has been quite aggressive recently. I got some information from Danzo. It seems that the Uchiha clan is preparing to fight in the war. There was something going on, so you. I know about this, but the current Uchiha clan cannot move. You have wiped out the roots. If you attack the Uchiha clan again, the war will be difficult to carry out and will cause too much harm to the village. I already have a certain plan, and I have discussed with everyone present that as long as the Uchiha clan dares to rebel, it will be destroyed by Konoha with the power of thunder. You don't need to consider this matter. After hearing this, Luo Chuan felt a pity in his heart. If the Uchiha clan could be handed over to him, then maybe his power could rise to a small level again. The Sharingan of the Uchiha clan is very eye-catching. What a huge eye power it has. The upgraded Byakugan's pupil power has become very powerful, and the eyes that seemed never satisfied before can now faintly see the end. If some huge pupil power is added, maybe these eyes can break through. What kind of eyes they will become by then is really exciting. Since Lord Hokage has known about it for a long time, I won't say anything. So, the matter of the Hyuga clan. As the Hyuga clan is the backbone of Konoha, I will not treat them badly. Okay, everyone is tired today, so you can go back and rest first. The third Hokage glanced at the others, and those ninjas withdrew one after another, leaving only Hatake Shigesaku, Hyuga Kianyang, and Hyuga Luo Chuan. Luo Chuan, where is the other information? Well, here, I have seen these. To sum up, Cloud Shinobi Village has the intention to participate in the war, but Cloud Shinobi Village is very eye-catching. It will not participate in the war from the beginning, but will plan and prepare for it later. Take action when the war is coming to an end and the forces of all parties are weakened. So I have a suggestion. When the war breaks out, force Cloud Shinobi Village to participate in the war. Well, that makes sense. Luo Chuan, do you have any good plans? The fishing boat sometimes becomes a sharp sword. Under the fishing boat, Cloud Shinobi Village has no choice but to participate. At the same time, the pressure from above will also force Cloud Shinobi Village to participate in the war. Two-pronged approach. How to do it? Spread the news that Cloud Shinobi Village has prepared a large number of ninja tools and is suspected of participating in the war. In this way, several other ninja villages will definitely pay more attention to Cloud Shinobi Village. Then there is the daimyo of the Kingdom of Thunder. If the daimyo's mansion of the Kingdom of Thunder encounters several shinobi villages were attacked, so will the daimyo of Thunder Country let Cloud Shinobi Village participate in the war. These words made a few people's eyes light up. Yes, if this happens, Cloud Shinobi Village will have to participate in the war. When war breaks out, any means can be used and any means are allowed. Although attacking the big names of the Kingdom of Thunder is a bit beyond the scope of the Ninja Village War, it is also for the sake of the overall situation. The matter was quickly decided, and after a few more discussions, Qianyang left the Hokage building with Luo Chuan. As the two walked on the road, Luo Chuan breathed a sigh of relief. A lot happened tonight. Danzo was dead and his roots were destroyed. In this case, the Black Hand shrouding Konoha will be officially declared dead, and Konoha will be more stable in the future. Of course, this is a very good thing for Luo Chuan personally. Third Hokage was already somewhat indecisive. In just 2 years, his mentality had gradually changed. The reason why Luo Chuan and the Hyuga clan were not punished was also a manifestation of his indecision. In addition, there are Hyuga Qianyang's cage-level shock, and Luo Chuan's quasi-shadow shock. These two powerful forces are within the Hyuga clan. For the stability of the village, the Hokage must not dare to attack the Hyuga clan, but must support them. This is the ending Luo Chuan wants, and it is the best shock in history. How many cage-level experts are there in the village currently? Not many, actually not many. Third Hokage is one, and Hatake Mosaku is one. As for the three Orochimaru, they have not yet reached the cage-level ranks at this moment, that is, they are hovering in the quasi-shadow position. Therefore, Third Hokage must compromise and must compromise. If nothing unexpected happens to the three Orochimaru people, they will soon break through to the cage-level ranks and break through in the Ninja World War. Master, how are you going to handle the affairs of the Feng Zibo clan? If the Uchiha clan is removed from Konoha, then they are likely to enter other ninja villages, which will be a huge threat to us. Therefore, if you want to attack the Uchiha clan, it is best to exterminate the clan. Genocide, is that right? In just a few days, the Hyuga clan has become the most powerful in Konoha, and the status of the first family has become unshakable. This is the result of the efforts of the Hokage and many strong people. The Uchiha clan is still unclear about this game. It is difficult to understand how the Hyuga clan suddenly rose to such a height. The Hyuga clan has stabilized the Uchiha clan, and the reasons for this are all kept silent by the powerful ones. The entire village is spreading news about the Hyuga clan, such as obtaining important information and saving Konoha from fire and water. The residents naturally did not understand the content of the intelligence, but when they saw Hokage and many powerful people announcing it, they believed it. Now walking on the road, people of the Hyuga clan have stronger self-confidence, but they also have heavier responsibilities. The smell of gunpowder smoke is already filling the air, and some friction has broken out in the ninja world. For example, when Konoha's ninjas perform missions outside, they often encounter some inexplicable attacks and are killed. Everything proves that the war has begun. Within the Hyuga clan, Luo Chuan was sitting in the pavilion of his own courtyard. There was a map on the table, which was a map of the entire ninja world. In addition, there were two beauties, Makoto and Kushina, following him. They were talking quietly, for fear of disturbing Luo Chuan. The Second Ninja War was a truce treaty between the 5 major countries that suffered a heavy blow in the First Ninja War, ushering in a temporary peace. However, the economic gap between countries increased after the war, in order to increase fairness. On the grounds of privileges, martial factions in various countries have risen in power and are promoting the use of force to expand territory. As a result, the Second Ninja World War will be formed. This is the reason for the Second Ninja War. There is no need for a glorious reason, it is just for self-interest. Among the 5 major countries, the most prosperous economy is the Fire country, and Konoha has also benefited from it. But there will always be people who are jealous, or it can be said to be fearful. Konoha is the cradle of geniuses. If Konoha continues to develop, it will have a major impact on other ninja villages. Through the Ninja World War, the power of Konoha and other major ninja villages was consumed to bring them into relative balance. Ninja World Wars are generally not too complicated. Whoever has a bigger fist has the right to speak. If you become a king and lose a bandit, you can't blame anyone. Looking at the map on the table, Luo Chuan thought about many plans, but when targeting Cloud Shinobi Village, he always encountered some obstacles. Did Cloud Shinobi Village directly participate in the Great Ninja War, or did it participate at a later stage? The sequence of time will affect his plan, and for this, there must be enough plans to respond at any time. After thinking about it for a long time, we finally settled on a few plans and then stopped. The breeze blew by, and the map on the table floated with the wind, making Luo Chuan's hair fly. The calm before the hurricane is really disturbing, Luo Chuan said softly. The 2 women saw that he had finished thinking about his things, and then they said, Luo Chuan, can we go out for a walk? Cannot. Ah, why? Do you still want to restrict our freedom? You are so bad, I wonder if you can be better. Kushina is feeling aggrieved. She has stayed in the Hyuga clan for so many days without going out. Luo Chuan seems to be a little more relaxed now. Why don't they let them go out for a walk? Makoto is also looking forward to it. After all, he is young and it is normal to want to go out for a walk. The village is not so peaceful now. You should stay within the family first to avoid any accidents. Kushina, be obedient, or I will ask you to move to another place. Kushina was embarrassed and flinched. If you move to another place, you won't be able to see Luo Chuan anytime you want. Luo Chuan, urgent mission, Hokage building. Hyuga Qianyang came to the courtyard, and the first words he said when he walked in made Luo Chuan perk up, and he rushed towards the Hokage building without saying a word. The only thing that can be said to be an urgent mission is war in this current situation. Sure enough, after arriving at the Hokage office, many elite ninjas have gathered here, and the 3rd Hokage is making urgent arrangements. Everyone, the Ninja World War has begun. Dedicate your enthusiasm for the prosperity of the village. Hitaki Shigesaku, I have appointed you as the wartime commander-in-chief, responsible for the frontline war command mission. Hyuga Qianyang, you lead the Hyuga clan elite to the border and wait. Uchiha Hina, you lead the Takia clan elite to the border and wait. Orochimaru. With a lot of orders on his face, those who were named responded one after another, and then left the office. In the end, only Luo Chuan and a few super strong people were left. Hitaki Shisho, you have a special status as the commander-in-chief during the war. You led the troops to the Kingdom of Rain. When conducting command, you must make reasonable arrangements and not make any mistakes, otherwise there will be no consequences. End of trouble. Hitachi Mosaku has been on the battlefield for a long time, and he knows these things clearly, and said, yes. Hokage arranged the tasks for everyone, and Luo Chuan was left in the end. Looking at Luo Chuan, Hokage said, Luo Chuan, you are responsible for transporting supplies. The transportation and supplies of each team are left to you. Be sure to pay attention to safety, Chongqing, Chongqing. Quote. Such a task was given to Luo Chuan. This task is indeed very important. The supplies for the logistics team include ninja tools, food and grass, and medical supplies. The most important of them should be the ninja tools and medical items. Food and grass are okay to mention. On the battlefield, various ninja tools are constantly flying, and the demand for ninja tools is very huge, and medical items often determine the combat effectiveness of a team. Seeing that it was such a job, Luo Chuan agreed without thinking. It would not be very difficult for him. At the same time, you are responsible for the support mission. When each team is in need, under the condition of ensuring the safety of the transportation troops, support each team at any time. You're also responsible for providing support. It seems like the burden is not small. The plan has been formulated. Hokage's plan has many similarities with Luo Chuan, and it is basically similar to what he imagined. Returning to the Hyuga clan's mansion, he was responsible for supply transportation, which was a logistical support, and the task was also relatively heavy. As for activity support, it is even more dangerous. It is basically a rescue job. Luo Chuan, the main force has set off first. Tomorrow you will go to the square with your letter of appointment. The people supplying and transporting the troops will be waiting there. Remember, you must pay attention to safety. After Hyuga Qianyang explained some things, he summoned the elites of the poor Hyuga clan and rushed to the border area between the Land of Fire and the Land of Rain. According to the plan formulated by Hokage, he divided this war into 6 troops, each with a different division of labor. Hitachi Shigesaku was responsible for the wartime commander and was also the main force. He led a large force to the Land of Rain, where he fought a decisive battle with 2 other ninja villages. Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade are also divided into 3 teams and go to various places respectively, responsible for intelligence collection, firepower output, assistance, etc. The elite of the Hyuga clan are waiting at the border, ready to cooperate with the large forces. The Uchiha clan is waiting at the border of the Kingdom of Frost. The Kingdom of Frost is the place bordering the Kingdom of Thunder. If they wait there, they can monitor Cloud Shinobi Village and feed back intelligence when Cloud Shinobi Village takes action, and also hinders the actions of Cloud Shinobi Village. The task is relatively complex, and this war will not be completed easily. Luo Chuan's task is to transport supplies. If the army needs it, he will lead his people to transport the supplies there and also support that army. How many ninjas are there in Konoha? The number is definitely more than 10,000, which should not be underestimated. The number of chunin in other large ninja villages is similar, and the number of ninjas in the 5 major ninja villages is relatively the same. Now that the war breaks out, it is impossible to send out all the ninjas, and some must be left to take charge of the village's defense. Kushina, Makoto, this is a time of war. You must stay in the Hyuga clan and cannot go anywhere. Especially you, Kushina, the fact that you are Nine-Tails Jinchuriki must be kept secret. If a powerful enemy appears in the village, then take Makoto to the shelter or the Hokage building as soon as possible. Someone will protect you too, do you understand? Kushina and Makoto had nervous expressions on their faces. Kushina was someone who had experienced war. She knew better what consequences war would bring. At this time, she did not dare to be naughty and nodded quickly. Then you must be careful when you are outside, and remember that we are still here waiting for you. Makoto said softly, with deep reluctance and worry in his eyes. I know, I'm going to prepare something. After saying that, he left the Hyuga clan and went to the store to prepare. The next day, 120 ninjas gathered in the village square, each of them wearing a vest and looking serious. Luo Chuan body flicker technique came to the front of all the ninjas, looked at these nervous ninjas, and said seriously, everyone, I am the person in charge of supply transportation this time, and I will arrange your next tasks. He showed the letter of appointment to prove his identity. Seeing such a kid coming to command them, even though they had already heard some things about Luo Chuan, most of the people still looked weird and the scene was a little restless. Why is it a child? He will lead us. No way. What are you thinking, Lord Hokage? Why don't you send a strong person to lead us? Or send someone with experience? The ninjas talked a lot and showed deep suspicion towards Luo Chuan. A kid, no matter how talented he is, cannot resist the shortcomings of experience. Even if this kid has some unique features, this is war, not playing house. Only a few people seemed to know something and stood calmly. Luo Chuan rolled his eyes and glanced at these people, feeling a little disappointed. Among the 120 ninjas, although there is no genin level, their overall strength is not high. There are only 5 people in the Jonin level, 7 in particular, and the others are basically Chunin and elite Chunin. If such a team gathers together on the battlefield, it can form a certain deterrent force, but if they are divided into small teams, they will be destroyed. Quiet. Seeing the noisy crowd, Luo Chuan let out a low drink, and the ground beneath his feet instantly shattered, with crack-like cracks all over the square. No matter what, this move can prove that his strength is not weak. The noisy ninjas fell silent and looked at Luo Chuan honestly, waiting for his orders. But what they think in their hearts is another matter. Power is the best deterrent at times like this. Although it didn't cause much of a sensation, there were no cracks under the feet of these ninjas, only outside. It can be seen that his control over chakra has reached an astonishing level. Now make arrangements. Each team has 10 people, led by a Japanese. Luo Chuan grouped these 120 ninjas into 12 teams, and the leaders were naturally the 5 Jonin and the 7 special Jonin. Generally speaking, the stronger they are, the more experienced they are. With them helping each other, things will be much easier. After being divided into groups, Luo Chuan led the team to leave Konoha. Luo Chuan is also wearing a vest at the moment, but his vest is no longer the Chunin vest, but Jonin's vest. Although the Jonin vest looked a bit weird on him, no one considered using that many cliffs at this time. This was promoted by Hokage as an exception. In times of war, situations like this often happen. At this moment, his position is, especially Jonin. The team advanced, and more than 100 people quickly rushed out of Konohagakure and headed for the battlefield. According to Hokage's arrangement, there are 2 ninja villages that have clearly participated in the war, namely Sunagakure and Iwagakure. These 2 ninja villages will definitely participate in the war. The 3 countries are not far apart. As one of the 5 major ninja villages, the 3 ninja villages now have a war. Naturally, they cannot start a war in their own countries, but choose to go to other countries. Rain Shinobi Village has been the buffer country for the 3 shinobi villages since ancient times. Now it is natural to choose this country as the place of battle. There is Rain Shinobi Village in Rain Country, and the geographical environment is also quite special. It rains all year round, which has a huge geographical advantage for the ninjas in Rain Shinobi Village. Each leader had a specific route. Luo Chuan took a map and marked the marching routes of several leaders, and then summoned the 12 team leaders in the team. This is the marching route of Hitaki Shigesaku and others. The large force is still behind us at the moment, and their marching speed will inevitably be much slower, so we don't need to consider the supply problem of their 650 people. What we need to consider is as the vanguard force. These teams. Look here, this is Orochimaru's marching route. He is responsible for going to the Rain Country via the Kawa Country, and is responsible for outflanking the Wind Country troops and sneaking into Steel Intelligence. If there is a battle, if he can follow the plan, if it proceeds smoothly, his supplies will not pose a problem. This is Jiraiya's march route, heading straight from the country of fire to the country of rain. If he encounters an enemy, he will directly launch an attack as the leading force's firepower output. This is Tsunade's march route, is lurking in the Kingdom of Grass, and is responsible for cutting off the logistic supply routes of the Kingdom of Earth and interrupting the supplies of the Kingdom of Earth. From this point of view, Tsunade needs relatively more support. After all, he is lurking in the Kingdom of Grass. Unlike Orochimaru's rush, her troops may be blocked by the Grass Ninja Village. After careful analysis of the battlefield, the 2 most important enemies at present are Iwagakure and Sunagakure, but there are also some other scattered enemies, which are various small and medium-sized ninja villages, such as Kusanagi Village, Rain Shinobi Village, Taki Ninja Village, etc. may cause obstacles. He analyzed it more carefully and clearly marked the routes of each team. The 12 captains looked at the map and nodded repeatedly. This was a very detailed road map, and they also admired Luo Chuan. Lord Luo Chuan, what about the family leader's troops and the Uchiha clan's troops? The speaker was a Jonin from the Hyuga clan, who was naturally respectful to Luo Chuan. This map also has the routes of these two armies. From the inside, this Jonin pays more attention to his family. The first thing that comes to his mind is his family's supply problem. Luo Chuan nodded secretly and said, "Don't worry about this. The purpose of the Uchiha clan lurking in the Kingdom of Frost is to monitor and hinder Cloud Shinobi Village. If Cloud Shinobi Village participates in the war, the situation will change slightly. Therefore, there must be someone now a troop is under surveillance. Of course, the village has also arranged some manpower to force Cloud Shinobi Village to take action, lest Cloud Shinobi Village take advantage of it. As for the Hyuga clan's troops, they are currently waiting at the border, waiting to join the large army. We will carry out war missions according to Hitaki Shigesaku's instructions." The routes of each team were completely revealed. Everyone present took a deep breath. This time, the arrangements were so thorough. Only their team was a mobile unit, responsible for supply transportation and supporting the troops. It was a big responsibility. The battle situation will change all the time, so they need someone with great wisdom and someone who can clearly see the situation, AJDB, to lead them, so as not to hold others back. We will reach the border soon. Before that, we must choose a route, otherwise we will be like a headless fly. Here, choose the route of Tsunade. Why, quite simply, she's going to be in trouble. He said it very firmly, and the other people naturally didn't know where he got his confidence, so they didn't argue about anything and followed his orders and headed to the country of grass. The war in the ninja world is turbulent, and no one can know what will happen in the next moment on the battlefield. But as a time traveler, Luo Chuan is familiar with the war and has a certain understanding of a dozen things that are about to happen. However, he also knew very well in his heart that the butterfly effect was no joke. His arrival had changed some things. He was still not sure whether there would be any changes in the Great Ninja War. Therefore, it serves as a supply transportation force and a backup force. He still chose Tsunade. Tsunade's team is relatively fragile. Her main task is to cut off Iwagakure's supplies, so there won't be many ninjas in her team. The ones with more ninjas should be Orochimaru and Jiraiya. Their two teams are capable of fighting, but they shouldn't be needed at the moment. After rushing for half a day, under the rapid march, we finally gradually approached the border of the country of grass. The borderland is desolate and indifferent, with not many people inhabiting it. It is like a canyon with many mountains. It is difficult to see clearly what Lagu is used to do even from a high place. Crossing here is the territory of the country of grass. Although the grass ninja village is not strong in combat, it will be troublesome if it is targeted. We will advance separately and gather outside the canyon. Yes, the 12 captains shouted low and led their teams quickly into the canyon. In an instant, no one could be seen. Luo Chuan checked around here and saw what he expected. Tsunade, as expected, it's still a clue left by inexperience, you can't do this in a rapid march. Luo Chuan saw some footprints not far away. Although they were blurry, he could tell that they should have been left about 6 hours ago. Instinctively, Luo Chuan dispatched Shadow Clone to quickly erase these obvious footprints. But when he saw something else, he stopped. These footprints don't look like the shoes of Konoha Shinobi, and they were left about 4 hours ago, and there are quite a lot of them. Oops. The accidental discovery of footprints made Luo Chuan nervous. Those footprints were not from Konohagakure, but from other ninja villages, and there were quite a few of them. It seems that Tsunade is really in trouble. After 6 hours of rapid march, I am afraid that he has gone very far now. I don't know if he can catch up. Thinking of this, Luo Chuan rushed out like a cheetah and headed towards his team. You guys will meet up after you leave the canyon. Follow the route I originally planned and move forward at full speed. Tsunade's troops are in trouble. I'll go over first to check. After giving instructions to the 12 captains, Luo Chuan jumped out without hesitation, and his figure was no longer visible in an instant. On the other side, in a relatively secluded forest, a team was advancing rapidly, led by a beautiful blonde woman, the princess of Konoha, Tsunade Haim. The number of troops she leads is not very large, only about 500. She is responsible for surprise attacks and cutting off enemy supply routes, so the number of ninjas is not very large. She was marching in a hurry when she suddenly stopped, and the entire team also stopped instantly. Except for a few people beside her, the others hid behind the trees and closely observed the surroundings. Tsunade-sama, what is this? A Jonin beside him asked in a low voice. Tsunade is a strong man in Konoha, the proud disciple of the third Hokage, and his strength has reached its peak. Moreover, she is also the granddaughter of the first Hokage. With a transcendent status, she can naturally win the respect of countless people. Tsunade frowned. The surroundings were silent, there was nothing surprising, everything seemed normal. It's so quiet. Tsunade-sama, wouldn't it be better to be quiet? No, it's too quiet. It's so quiet that someone seems to have come here deliberately. Speaking of which, Tsunade's beautiful eyes widened and she quickly looked elsewhere. Fire-style fire dragon flame bullet. The scorching heat swept through the entire forest in an instant. In the distance, a ball of fire rose up and flew straight towards here, destroying countless trees along the way, like an unstoppable giant beast, completely crushing the forest. Water-style water barrier. Dozens of ninjas reacted quickly and used water-style ninjutsu at the same time. A huge wall of water gathered in front to form a defensive formation. At this time, the fireball was clearly visible. It was an extremely huge fireball, with a diameter of more than 20 meters. It was like a meteorite falling from the starry sky, catching people off guard. At the same time, behind this fireball, there were more fireballs coming, the diameter of which was not the same as the fireball in front. Hiss, there are so many fire dragon flame bullets. Tsunade whispered, such a huge fireball should not be used by one person, but by a large number of ninjas at the same time. Boom. The fireball in front hit the water barrier, causing the water barrier to sway continuously. The contact between the high temperature and the water flow actually evaporated the water barrier. This made the ninjas of Konoha feel shocked and quickly increased the chakra output to resist the attack of the fireball. The first fireball was successfully resisted, but as the fireballs roared from behind, the water barrier no longer had much ability to resist. Tsunade made a quick decision and rushed forward, water-style Grand Falls technique. After the seal was completed, chakra gushed out like a river, and a huge waterfall suddenly appeared in front of her, and the sound of rushing water was endless. The raging waterfall fell, like a wild beast, pressing forward fiercely. Boom! After the waterfall fell, the fireballs were quickly extinguished. Tsunade continued to control the waterfall, and the endless waterfall continued to rush forward, as if it was going to destroy all enemies. Those enemy ninjas who had finished using their ninjutsu had wisely chosen to evacuate when they saw the waterfall appear, and launched a fierce attack from the side. Konoha has a strong man leading the team, be careful. The enemy ninja leader gave an explanation, and more than 1,000 ninjas disappeared in the blink of an eye. It can be seen that these are also some elite soldiers and generals, otherwise they would not choose to attack Konoha's troops. Tsunade did not relax at all after destroying those fireballs. The troops hid in the forest and quickly searched for traces of the enemy. Tsunade-sama, how come there are enemies in the land of grass? This was beyond Jonin's imagination. The country of grass should be peaceful and not affected by war. How could they be attacked so soon after they entered the country of grass? Tsunade shook his head, feeling a little regretful. Impatient, because I am too impatient. I don't know. The identity of the enemy is unknown now, but it is very likely that he is the ninja of Iwagakure. However, how could the ninja of Iwagakure come to the country of grass so easily? Could it be that they cooperate with the country of grass? But when I thought about it again, it didn't look right. They shouldn't want to be involved in this ninja world war against the land of grass. Why would Iwagakure's people be allowed to deal with Konoha's people? Oh, as a small country sandwiched between two countries, the choice of the country of grass should be neutrality and not helping the two countries. Things are a little complicated and I can't think clearly in my time. You go and investigate and leave this to me. X. The two Jonin got the order and quickly evacuated with several ninjas. What Tsunade is annoyed about is intelligence. She previously ignored the importance of intelligence, but now the attitude of the Grass Country is an important issue. If the Kingdom of Grass prepares to assist the Kingdom of Earth, then if their troops stay in the Kingdom of Grass, they will encounter great danger and may very well be annihilated by the ninjas of the Kingdom of Grass. After all, she currently leads only more than 500 people. Although the ninjas in Kusanagi village are generally not as powerful as Konoha, their numbers are not weak, with thousands of ninjas. For now, that is not an opponent that can be underestimated. Suddenly, Tsunade seemed to have discovered something, and his silver teeth bit secretly. There are so many. How much power is hidden in the Grass Ninja Village? From the destroyed trees ahead, a large number of ninjas swaggered out, and their forehead protectors showed their identities, that is, the ninjas of Kusanagi Village. Chapter 111. Grass Ninja Village belongs to the country of grass. It can be said that it is a ninja village that has no progress and only copies others. Like grass blowing in the wind, the unstable ninja village often uses its diplomatic skills to read the movements of powerful countries in advance and take the lead in taking action. In addition, it also works very hard to analyze the ninjutsu used by ninjas from other countries. There are no unique ninjutsu in this ninja village, nor their own ninjutsu. Unlike other ninja villages, they only need to copy it, which can save a lot of time. This method can allow ninjas to quickly increase their strength, but after all, it has too many limitations. There are almost no geniuses in this village, and everything relies on the ninjutsu of ninja villages in other countries. However, this shinobi village has established good diplomatic relations with Konoha, but domestic politics are corrupt. The so-called wind blows the grass on the wall, causing it to fall on both sides. This is the best interpretation of the Grass Ninja Village. However, the current Tsunade does not know much about this matter and is deeply puzzled by the appearance of Kusanagi. Instead of the Grass Ninja Village cooperating with Iwagakure, the Grass Ninja Village directly attacked Konoha's large forces. What on earth is the Grass Ninja Village thinking? Tsunade's heart was like a huge wave, and it was difficult to calm down. Looking at the ninjas from the Grass Ninja Village, they stopped when they were 20 meters away from Tsunade. They looked awe-inspiring and looked difficult to deal with. One of the leaders said at this time, "It turns out to be Konoha's Tsunade Heim." What a blessing! Tsunade's name was revealed. The leader had an ordinary appearance, but what was more eye-catching was his eyes, which were full of ultimate coldness, like glaciers, making people shudder. Tsunade had a sullen face and shouted, "Why did the ninjas of Kusanagi village attack us?" "Attacking you? No, 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 how could it be an attack on you? On the contrary, you Konoha passed through our country without giving an explanation. What do you think is going on? In view of the current situation, we should ask Tsunade Heim to come with us. Let's have a cup of tea in the Grass Ninja Village and explain the situation in detail." The ninja leader of the Grass Ninja Village is not afraid at all. He is not afraid just because the opponent is a ninja from Konoha. Even if it is an alliance village, that is no exception. AJFD, as soon as Tsunade heard this, he knew that he was here to cause trouble. Without saying a word, he rushed forward and punched him. Boom! Even though Tsunade isn't very fast, her strength more than makes up for it. A punch fell, and the white and delicate fist hit the ground. The ground was as fragile as tofu, and it exploded instantly, and a very strong force rushed towards the ninjas in front. The ninja leader had already been prepared, so he would not be hit by this punch and could easily avoid it. The other ninjas also retreated one after another. Konoha Tsunade Heim's fist was so frightening that ordinary people could not understand it. There were also some who didn't have time to avoid it. Under this punch, they fell directly to the bottom, and their bodies were also impacted by the force and lost consciousness. After the punch, Tsunade took advantage of the situation to pursue him and rushed towards the ninja leader. The powerful fists continued to hit, and with each punch, there was no intact place around him. The ninjas of Konoha also rushed out after her punch. At this moment, the enemy had revealed their identity and was standing in the open. Naturally, they would not continue to hide. 500 ninjas rushed out, but compared with the opponents, the number was still a little less. The number of enemy ninjas exceeds 1,000, about 1,500, which is 3 times their number. It's not easy to deal with. This is not an easy force to deal with. I'm afraid there will be a lot of trouble. The Konoha shinobi rushed over, and the Kusanagi quickly sneaked into the forest. They had more advantages in this forest, and they were more familiar with the geographical environment. In the forest of Noda, 2,000 ninjas were scattered everywhere, fighting to the death. Tsunade's opponent was the ninja leader, but the ninja leader seemed to know how powerful she was and did not contact her head-on. Instead, he used ninja tools to attack. The battle between the two turned out to be inseparable, and it was difficult to determine the winner in a short period of time. If we keep going like this, we will miss the opportunity to fight. Time is the most important thing for Konoha. If they cannot lurk well according to the established route, it will be difficult for them to play their role and respond to other teams. Considering that time was tight, she increased her speed. Chakra continued to vent, and a range of tens of meters was filled with an extremely powerful chakra, which frightened the ninja leader. Not everyone can bear such a huge chakra. Fortunately, his task is not to fight with the opponent head-on, but to delay time, otherwise. Unknowingly, Tsunade seemed to have entered an Uzumaki, but she herself was not clear about this Uzumaki. Half an hour passed like this. Tsunade's fight became more and more urgent, and his anger gradually increased. Asshole, what's the difference between a hiding person and a rat? Cursing secretly, when she glanced casually, she suddenly discovered that the ninjas in her unit had spread out far away and were fighting continuously in the forest. Oops, the team is scattered, and they may be defeated one by one. She didn't know how much power hidden in the grass ninja village was, but judging from the current situation, 1,500 ninjas were fighting against 500 Konoha ninjas. This was equivalent to a class of people besieging one ninja, which was not enough in terms of strength. Proportional. Her team itself was used for surprise attacks, cutting off the enemy's supply routes, but now there was such a big loophole. This refusal was a long-planned plan by Kusakunin village to hinder Konohagakure. Did you notice? It seems he's not that stupid. A faint voice came from not far away. Tsunade frowned and looked over, only to see a figure shoot towards her quickly and reach her side in an instant. It's you. Seeing the person coming, Tsunade let out a low voice, never expecting it to be this guy. Hyuga Luo Chuan, how did you get here? If everyone had marched as fast as you did, Konoha would have been doomed long ago. Stop talking nonsense and solve the grass ninja village first. .. Exclamation mark. Luo Chuan rushed to Tsunade in a hurry, and happened to see Tsunade's angry side. Then he watched the other ninjas fighting, and there was a hint of something bad in his heart. The appearance of so many ninjas in the grass ninja village is an extremely strange event in itself. If these ninjas are indeed ninjas from the grass ninja village, then the purpose of the grass ninja village is chilling. This ninja village, which has been showing goodwill to Konoha, turned against itself at this critical moment, and the harm it brought to Konoha was extremely serious. The ninja leader who fought Tsunade was Elite Jonin, and he was a pretty good strongman. Tsunade was at the top of his quasi-cage level, and he had not yet reached cage level. It would be quite depressing to deal with an Elite Jonin who was constantly dodging. Luo Chuan rushed out first, and Elite Jonin saw a kid rushing towards him and smiled disdainfully, but Tsunade also rushed over at the same time, so he naturally did not dare to neglect. It only takes one strike. Tsunade only needs one strike to make him lose combat power instantly, which is why he keeps dodging. However, he ignored why Luo Chuan could come here alone. Luo Chuan, who rushed straight forward, suddenly erupted with a burst of lightning when he was still 10 meters away. Lightning-style chakra spread all over his body, and his speed suddenly increased. At this moment, in just a split second, he had already rushed to the ground. Gentle fist method 8 hexagrams and 64 palms. In an instant, the shadows of fists were flying, and the shadows of palms were falling from the sky. Bang bang. The ninja leader did not expect that Luo Chuan's speed would suddenly increase so much, and was caught off guard. 64 palms, each slapped on his acupuncture points, sealing his chakra. At the same time, the huge force also made his body dent continuously, like dough being squeezed. Puff! The ninja leader spat out a mouthful of blood. The 64 palm strikes had been completed. The ninja leader was in a state of depression and his eyes were full of disbelief. It's over. Tsunade jumped out from behind Luo Chuan, and his small white fist hit the ninja leader's chest, and the fierce force was transmitted from the fist to the opponent's body. With this punch, the ninja leader flew backwards like a cannonball and hit a big tree hard, lifeless. Little guy, you are quite capable. Tsunade solved this long-standing enemy, and the depression in his heart was swept away. He patted Luo Chuan on the shoulder and smiled generously. Luo Chuan shook his head secretly. Tsunade is now in his 20s, his figure is fully developed, and he exudes a mature charm in every gesture. However, who would have thought that Tsunade's mind is sometimes too simple and too impetuous? If he hadn't noticed something strange and rushed over this time, so many grass ninjas would have killed Tsunade's troops. You have left too many clues for the enemy, and you don't even know how to erase the traces. Will your lurking still be effective? These words made Tsunade's slender hands freeze in the air, and his face became embarrassed and gradually turned into a black face. After a while, Tsunade walked around to him and leaned down. His cheek kept getting closer, and his finger pointed on his forehead. Little guy, if you talk to your sister like this, your sister will be very angry. It was indeed a sign of anger. He wanted to fool him, but now he was pointed out directly by Luo Chuan. She has long known Luo Chuan's reputation as a genius, and she even supports Luo Chuan's responsibility for supply transportation, believing that he is fully capable and has such intelligence. But now it seems that this was a wrong choice. This little guy actually killed her. It's just a matter of fact. If you continue to be so irritable, you may have been dealt with before leaving the country of grass. The support team cannot come here yet, so I will deal with the other grass ninjas first. Oh, the support team is still in other places. Hehe, are you here to help my sister? My sister is so touched. Come on, give me a hug. Tsunade's mood changed quickly, and he opened his hands to embrace Luo Chuan with a satisfied smile on his face. However, Luo Chuan dodged and rushed towards the grass ninjas with a kunai in hand, using the body flicker technique one after another. Tsunade was embarrassed again. His hands were frozen in the air and he maintained a hugging posture. He was already embarrassed. Ahem, cough, this little guy must be shy. After all, I am a charming girl. Tsunade shook her hair, and it could be seen that she was still very confident in her appearance and figure. It could also be said that she had found a perfect excuse for herself. There was no time to waste, so she quickly joined the battle and continued fighting with those grass ninjas. 1,500 grass ninjas versus 500 Konoha shinobi. This is not a fair war, but wars are never fair. The ninjas of Konoha are facing a lot of pressure. 2 or 3 of them form a clan, which disperses them, leaving them isolated and helpless, making it difficult to join up with others. Fighting in such an environment, it is difficult for Konoha's ninjas to exert their full strength, and there is a tendency to be suppressed. Boom! A shocking explosion suddenly came, and thick and sharp rock spears were seen rising from the ground, piercing the bodies of countless grass ninjas, causing blood to flow. Then, a figure flashed past quickly, and Konoha shinobi could only see a relatively young figure, unable to distinguish his appearance clearly. Oh my god, it's not that brat from the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Luo Chuan, is it? It seems so. Apart from him, which kid can be so strong? Several Konoha ninjas murmured to themselves, then regrouped and fought again. Luo Chuan's chakra is now large enough. Although it cannot be compared with heaven-defying creatures like tailed beasts, he has other ways to restore his chakra. However, what he uses most at the moment is close combat, using his speed advantage to decapitate the enemy and end the battle quickly. Stop that brat! Dozens of grass ninja elites noticed that Luo Chuan was rushing towards him quickly. They were so angry that they immediately rushed towards him. A mere chunin can play a relatively small role on the battlefield. Most of the people participating in the war are genin-level ninjas. In the eyes of the leadership, these ninjas are cannon fodder ninjas. The fate of cannon fodder ninjas is regrettable. Their future may be full of infinite possibilities, but in times of war, their lives seem insignificant. Dozens of ninjas rushed towards Luo Chuan. However, under Luo Chuan's double revolving heaven, dozens of ninjas flew away, covered with fine wounds. The addition of wind-style chakra's double revolving heaven adds cutting power to a whim. Afterwards, I saw phantoms flying in the forest, killings everywhere, and countless grass ninjas were decapitated under the cutting of a kunai. Under the charge of 500 people and Luo Chuan, 1,500 ninjas were defeated and fled far away. After the war, Luo Chuan called all the ninjas back, and after taking a short rest, he talked with Tsunade about the Kusanagi village. In the war years, the Alliance village was just a joke, and the agreement was just a piece of waste paper. Never think about what contribution the Alliance village can make to the village, but beware of them rebelling at any time and giving the village a fatal blow. Especially grass people like the outsiders in the ninja village are good at observing the situation. Once a situation is unfavorable to Konoha, they will immediately abandon Konoha, and even make matters worse and add insult to injury. He doesn't have the slightest fondness for the grass ninja village. According to the plot, this ninja world war will definitely last for several years, and it will be a war of attrition for the entire ninja world. But it is unknown whether the war will end early or be extended due to his intervention. He is well aware of the butterfly effect. As long as he comes to this world, it will definitely change the world, and the gears of destiny have already changed. Therefore, no one can predict the final direction of the ninja world war. But some characters may not change much, such as Uchiha Madara, Uzumaki Nagato, Black Zetsu, and Kagaya Haim. It is even possible that Sage of Six Paths can reappear, or that he is hiding somewhere, silently watching the movements of the ninja world. These are all possible things, but we still have to see what happens in the end. Let me end the great ninja war with my own hands. If a war lasts too long, he will not be happy. Ending the war as soon as possible is the best choice. Moreover, he also has his own ambitions. Konoha is the largest ninja village and can dominate the trends of the ninja world. As for Konoha, there will be many heavyweights bombarding Konoha in the future. How to avoid this situation and how to prevent Konoha from being destroyed has become a question for him to think about. The most powerful enemies in this world are none other than Kagaya Haim, Sage of Six Paths Otsutsuki Hagoromo, and Hyuga ancestor Otsutsuki Hamura. If these three people can be eliminated, the ninja world will be truly stable and truly peaceful. As for those strong men like Uchiha Madara, judging from the current situation, they are indeed formidable opponents. But they are just a chess piece that is being used. Luo Chuan firmly believes that in the near future, his power will surpass that of Uchiha Madara and others. Even if he achieves the Six Paths mode, it will be the same. Brother, what you say makes sense. I think my sister will believe you. But the grass ninja village cannot be moved now. After all, there is no need to provoke too many enemies. Just expel them. Tsunade's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light, and she looked at Luo Chuan with half-squinted eyes, which seemed to have another meaning. You just taught your sister a lesson. Now she is sad. What do you think you should do? What do you mean? Luo Chuan frowned. This Tsunade wouldn't want to. Sure enough, his words proved what he was thinking in the next moment. As a way to make up for your sister, don't you think you should stay and protect her? Sure enough, this means preparing to have a strong man. The ability Luo Chuan showed just now is enough to prove everything. He is a strong man who is not weaker than her. He is a 10-year-old demon strong man with such a mature mind. Keeping such a person by her side will be of great benefit to her army. I'm afraid not. My mission is supply transportation. I go wherever there is need. I have extremely high requirements for mobility. Tsunade was slightly disappointed, but suddenly he covered his stomach, turned pale, and fell towards Luo Chuan. Boom! Luo Chuan instinctively reached out and hugged him, but he was really confused. What happened to Tsunade? Brother, my sister feels so much pain and is very uncomfortable. I'm afraid she doesn't have much ability to fight anymore. Can you bear to watch your sister lead the troops to attack while she is sick? The voice sounded lost and low, but Luo Chuan understood in an instant that this was a rhythm to win sympathy. Tsunade, you are still. Before he finished speaking, Tsunade immediately interrupted. Sure enough, I have no conscience. I've looked at it and hugged it. Now I'm going to leave after eating it up. You really have no conscience. Okay, you go ahead. At worst, my sister will be beaten to death by then. As he spoke, he covered his cheeks with his hands, and his shoulders trembled, quite a bit. Acting like a spoiled child. Is this acting like a spoiled brat? Luo Chuan was also a little embarrassed now, especially the admiration and envy of the people around him, which really left him speechless. Seeing Tsunade like this again, I gritted my teeth and thought, forget it, I can only get cheated 1.5 times. However, it is impossible not to charge some interest. At that moment, he hugged Tsunade tightly with both hands, hugged her plump body tightly into his arms, and let the already exaggerated Yunfeng squeeze against his chest. Tsunade is definitely a fascinating object, especially now that she is in her 20s, between the stage of mature woman and youth, it is even more difficult to restrain her inner impulse. Okay, I promise you for now. Well, really. Yeah, I know my little brother is the best, come here and have a nice one. Tsunade burst out laughing and actually held Luo Chuan's cheek and took a deep sip. Feeling the warmth on his cheeks, Luo Chuan's heart gradually softened. Since he has fallen into the trap, he should just carry it with him. Seeing that Luo Chuan had agreed, Tsunade felt much relieved and had no problem with Luo Chuan hugging her tightly. In her opinion, it was just a child, even though the child was only a head shorter than her. Sister knows that my little brother still has a conscience and doesn't want to see my sister being bullied. Come on, little brother, take another sip. Tsunade's face was full of teasing, it was obvious that his little conspiracy had succeeded, and now he was feeling jealous. He actually held Luo Chuan's cheek again and was about to kiss him. The corner of Luo Chuan's mouth twitched, and there was an evil look in his eyes. When Tsunade's crystal red lips came closer, he turned his head and kissed Tsunade's crystal red lips with his big mouth. Tsunade was stunned. He opened his eyes wide and looked at the pair of evil eyes so close to him. He couldn't believe it in his heart because his mind was also blank. Seeing this, Luo Chuan did not stop, pried open Tsunade's teeth, sucked the slippery snake, and stirred it fiercely. Ah! Tsunade was frightened by this action and screamed. He held his body and was about to leave, but how could Luo Chuan agree? Since you were the one who provoked it first, you must bear the consequences yourself. One hand tightly restrained her waist, and the other hand pressed down on the back of her head, not intending to give up just like that. Tsunade panicked, really panicked. She is still a young lady, when has she ever experienced such a battle? In her panic, she even forgot to use her strange power. After a long time, Luo Chuan finally let her go, and looked at Tsunade, who was already blushing from holding it back, and smacked her mouth with a strong sense of teasing. Tsunade had come to his senses for a few minutes. It took the two of them a few minutes. She doesn't know what to say now. Are you going to say that she was raped by a 10-year-old child? If word gets out, more people will laugh at you. Cough, cough, little brother, I won't allow it anymore. Quote. Tsunade said with a serious face, but he didn't mean to be angry at all, and there was a strange feeling in his eyes. Luo Chuan's eyes lit up. There was something interesting, there was definitely something interesting about this. I had met Tsunade 2 years ago, but we didn't have much interaction at that time. Now that I see Tsunade again, I feel more and more that this Tsunade has a fatal attraction that makes people unable to put it down. Tsunade, you are destined to be mine, and I am your future husband. Saying this without hesitation is like declaring sovereignty, domineering and unquestionable. Tsunade turned away and snorted, what nonsense did you say? If you don't learn well at a young age, you will just learn this nonsense. Luo Chuan smiled lightly and said, really? Just remember, I will be your man from now on, and you can only belong to me. His heart is very firm. Since he has had some close contact with her, he will naturally not allow others to get involved. Anyone who wants to do evil things to her is his enemy and will be destroyed by him. Tsunade spat lightly, don't talk about these love affairs, kid. Wait until you grow up. By the way, do you want to continue in the country of grass now? She quickly changed the subject. Now her troops are still in the country of grass, but the grass ninja village launched an attack on her troops. Whether she can continue to stay in this country is a very serious question. Luo Chuan naturally stopped worrying about what happened just now, thought for a moment and said, follow the plan. As for Sao Ninja Village, send someone to investigate and then take countermeasures. While he was talking, his supply transport troops had also sensed this place, recovered some ninja tools that were still usable on the battlefield, and then replenished them together. His troops carry a lot of things, all of which are in seal scrolls, and they are large seal scrolls that can accommodate a large amount of supplies. You divide the team into small teams and make adjustments to the formation. You have left too many traces before, and now someone must eliminate the traces, so that even within the Kingdom of Grass. It is also difficult to find traces in the Grass Ninja Village. Although it is said that Kusanagi Village is likely to have cooperated with Iwagakure, no conclusion can be made until the matter is investigated clearly. Now my manpower is moving forward with you. I will go to the front to investigate and see if there is any movement. Quote. Should we divide into small teams? That's fine. It can hide traces as much as possible. Do you want to investigate? No, it's too dangerous. It's okay. If I want to leave, no one in this world can keep me. Dust escape was used again, smashing a space and then entering the space tunnel, quickly heading towards the location of Sao Ninja Village. Looking at where he left, Tsunade was speechless for a long time. This guy's power was really unfathomable. Luo Chuan, who was rushing all the way, soon arrived at Sao Ninja Village. At this moment, Sao Ninja Village did not have many manpower on guard. No matter how hard this village hides its power, it is impossible to develop such huge power. More than 1,000 ninjas have been sent to snipe Tsunade's troops before, and now they naturally cannot have too much power to defend. It was easy to enter the village. Byakugan identified the location of each ninja, cleverly avoided those ninjas, and arrived at the office building of the leader of the Grass Ninja Village. According to Byakugan's visit, the power of the leader of the Grass Ninja Village is only at the Quasi-Cage realm, and he should have just broken through to the Quasi-Cage realm not long ago. To deal with such an enemy, if he Qian Nuohao makes a surprise attack, he will be absolutely sure to kill him with one blow. Lurking in the office, the Grass Ninja leader was listening to the report from his subordinates with an angry look on his face. More than 1,000 people can't stop a team of 500 people. What on earth are you doing? Asshole, Konoha's power is so terrifying after all. Chief, there are too many strong men in Konoha, and we have no power to fight back. HMPH, no matter what, if you send people back, you must not admit the attack on Konoha. As for those who are dead, just treat them as if they never existed. It's GU. Also, report the situation to Tsuchikage and say that we are holding our ground for now and are looking for opportunities before we move. It really has something to do with Iwagakure. Luo Chuan smiled faintly, sneaked out of Sao Ninja Village and returned quickly. Returning to Tsunade's place, he briefly explained the information he had obtained. Tsunade took a breath after hearing this. It really had something to do with Iwagakure. The goal of the war this time is very clear, the enemies are Sunagakure and Iwagakure. These two ninja villages are not weak in strength and are one of the 5 major ninja villages. The game with 2 large ninja villages is not that easy. It involves all aspects. If there is a mistake in the intelligence, it may lead to the failure of the war. Today, Kusanagi Village has cooperated with Iwagakure, but they did not get any information before. This is their lack of intelligence, which is a very serious problem. Luo Chuan also understands the key. According to Tsunade's character, it is impossible for her to collect all the information before taking action. She can be impulsive sometimes, and if she becomes impulsive, the consequences will be more serious than anyone else's. Take what happened this time as an example. She was eager for success and wanted to reach a strategic location quickly, but she forgot to investigate the surrounding situation and collect intelligence. She did not conceal her whereabouts, and she also trusted the alliance of Kusanagi Village too much. If Luo Chuan hadn't come, this battle might have been very difficult. She might not die, but her troops would suffer heavy losses. Kusa Ninja Village and Iwagakure are cooperating, so what should we do next? How to do it? Just pretend that you don't know. Now the Grass Ninja Village is worried about Konoha's investigation, so we follow his wishes and announce to the public that this is a ninja pretending to be Iwagakure, and emphasize that there are not so many ninjas in the Grass Ninja Village. In this way, the Grass Ninja Village will more or less relax its vigilance, and may take action again in a short period of time. And what we have to do next is to kill the Grass Ninja Village. As long as the ninjas from the Grass Ninja Village appear, then destroy them all at once, leaving no room for retreat. As he spoke, he laid out a map, pointed at the map and said again, the place we are going to is the border area between the Kingdom of Grass and the Kingdom of Earth, and we will lurk here. You see, the border between the Kingdom of Grass and the Kingdom of Earth, there are not many bordering areas, so the people in Kusunin village must be able to predict our approximate location. In fact, our purpose may have been notified to Iwagakure by Kusunin village. Therefore, the route was changed and we lurked into the soil. Entering the country. This forest about 100 kilometers inside the Kingdom of Earth is the best place to lurk. Moreover, this is the only place that the Kingdom of Earth must pass to go to the Kingdom of Rain. And for the Kingdom of Grass, if so, we will lurk in the low-lying area of the Country of Grass, use a large number of shadow clone to camouflage underneath, and wait until the ninjas from the Country of Grass appear, then carry out counter-encirclement. Use Earth style and Water style to bury the Grass ninjas. A detailed plan was gradually revealed. This plan made Tsunade's hair stand on end. It was so cruel. He is actually planning to bury all the Grass ninjas. What a terrifying character this is. The plan has been formulated, but what is missing now is how to intercept Iwagakure's transportation force. It would be impractical to blow up the road, but Rock Shinobi is able to create a road using Earth-style ninjutsu. So, how to deal with Rock Shinobi? Luo Chuan already has another plan in mind, but this plan cannot be said yet. Okay, if that's the case, let's take action and deal with the Grass ninja first. When Tsunade got the detailed plan, she felt very high-spirited, as if she had come up with the plan, and she was full of pride. Luo Chuan shook his head secretly. The methods were all thought up by people. If the 36 tactics in the previous life are used in the Ninja World War, they will definitely be able to lead the direction of the Ninja World War. Those almost perfect strategies, the ninja world will definitely be terrified by these strategies. The large force took action again. Tsunade's force originally lost about 100 ninjas, which was a huge loss. Coupled with the ninjas who arrived from Luo Chuan, the force now still has more than 500 ninjas. Leading this elite force, everyone quickly rushed towards the low-lying area according to the route he had mapped out. There is a depression on the border of the Kingdom of Grass, which is extremely wide and can accommodate more than 1,000 people fighting here. And all around are towering peaks. Arrange each ninja on the mountain peak and arrange them according to the ninjutsu that each ninja is good at. When things were arranged, Luo Chuan and Tsunade also hid, and a large number of shadow clone were also created with the efforts of the ninjas. More than 500 shadow clone, Luo Chuan contributed more than 200. He doesn't have the chakra like the tailed beast, so naturally he can't summon thousands of shadow clone. Brother, how long do you have to wait? Tsunade lay next to Luo Chuan, staring at the shadow clone in the depression. Waiting is always annoying, and lurking can be frustrating without knowing when the enemy will appear. Luo Chuan said calmly, I don't know, but it shouldn't take too long. Logically speaking, if a large number of ninjas appear in the depression, it will be an excellent raid condition, and normal enemies will take action. Kill the enemy. Although the Grass Ninja village is very vigilant, it is difficult to be unconventional, so they will definitely take action. Really, I suddenly discovered a problem. What is the problem? Being your enemy would be a terrible thing. Tsunade said matter-of-factly. His face was full of seriousness and there was no falsehood at all. Luo Chuan smiled, turned to look at her, and said, really? But you are not my enemy, but my future woman, so you don't have to worry about this problem, right? Hey, kid, are you serious about this? Luo Chuan smiled evilly and said, of course, you have already kissed me. It would be a very disgusting thing to give you to someone else. Just be my woman from now on. Tsunade laughed when he heard this. She grabbed his ear with her slender hands and said teasingly, my little brother is so confident, but it's not that easy to catch up with my sister. It takes a lot of hard work. I'll give you one, sister. It's an opportunity, so work hard. One day I will let you climb into my bed. Sigh, shameless little brother. During the half-day waiting time, more than 500 ninjas lurked in the dark, paying close attention to the movements in the low-lying areas. Not far away, a group of ninjas quietly came to the edge of the depression, made a gesture after patrolling, and left the depression quietly. About 10 minutes after this group of ninjas left, a large number of ninjas suddenly appeared outside the depression, and the forehead protectors they wore on their foreheads revealed their identities. Grass Ninja again, the ninja of the village. Luo Chuan, who was paying attention to the depression from a high place, quickly opened his eyes and saw how many ninjas were there. 800 ninjas are outside the depression, waiting for the ministers who rush into the depression. Here it comes, get ready. Luo Chuan whispered, and Tsunade clenched his fists, with a dangerous light shining in his eyes. This grass ninja village is really brave, actually daring to come here to attack them. Sure enough, this ninja village cannot be kept, as the hidden dangers are too great. The ninjas outside the depression observed for a while and found that the ninjas inside the depression seemed to be very vigilant and did not show much vigilance. What's going on with these Konoha ninjas? There are only a dozen of them on guard. A ninja leader has many doubts in his mind, but according to the intelligence, the number of Konoha shinobi is about the same. There is nothing wrong with this. Boss, how about we go and kill them first? The ninja leader immediately said. No, if you want to attack, everyone must attack together. Otherwise, we will not be able to deal with them at once, but will get us into trouble. In this way, according to the original plan, we will attack with ninja tools first, and then rush out. Putting aside the doubts in his heart, the ninjas of Konoha should not have many strategies now. There are many places to hide in this border area. The ninjas of Konoha should choose such a place to act as a place where others can hide. They had searched many places before, but they had not found Konoha's ninjas. The reason why I came to this depression to search was because I had a little bit of hope. Because this depression is not an excellent hiding place, but will put the Konoha shinobi in danger. Any leader with some brains would not choose this place, but it is also very likely that the leader of Konoha would do the opposite. A large number of grass ninjas were ready. As the ninja leader gave an order, 800 ninjas suddenly burst into action and sprinted. The ninja tools were thrown out one after another, and the entire team rushed inside. The ninjas of Konoha seemed to be frightened by this scene, staring at them blankly without even reacting. Good opportunity. Kill. The ninja leader was overjoyed. The team rushed faster and had completely entered the lowland minister. Kill. Luo Chuan gave an order, and the ninja hiding on the mountain appeared, but those grass ninjas who were rushing towards the ninjas in the depression could not notice this. Earth-style Yomikanuma. Hundreds of ninjas united to use this ninjutsu. In an instant, the ground in the depression loosened and turned into soft brown mud. The entire depression covers an area of about 2 square kilometers, but now the depression in the picture has turned into a swamp. None of the grass ninjas who rushed to kill were checked, and a large number of ninjas fell into the mud and their bodies were submerged. Bang bang bang. At the same time, a large amount of white smoke rose from the side of Konoha shinobi. When the white smoke dissipated, where could the ninja of Konoha be seen in this depression? I was plotted. The grass ninja leader shouted loudly and quickly turned back, trying to break free from this quagmire. Of course, Konoha shinobi's next ninjutsu was also used. Water-style Great Falls technique. Another ninjutsu used jointly by hundreds of ninjas. On the peaks around the depression, huge waterfalls poured down, like the water of the Milky Way, endless. The waterfall falling from a high place not only has the ability to suffocate people, but also has the force to smash the human body into pieces. The ninja leader bore the brunt and was the first to be hit by the waterfall. He felt as if all the bones in his body had been shattered and the pain was unbearable. But this was just the beginning. The water flow formed by the waterfall mixed with the yellow spring marsh to form brown water flow, and all the bodies of these ninjas were involved in it. In the turbulent water, the bodies of the ninjas were almost torn apart by the violent water, and they could not resist it by using chakra. On the mountain peak, Luo Chuan watched all this happen with calm eyes, without joy or sorrow in his heart. Tsunade couldn't bear to see it, as the lives of 800 ninjas were suddenly at stake. Under these two ninjutsu, how could those ninjas survive? Even if they could survive, it would be difficult to withstand their onslaught. Hey, little brother, you are so scary. You are making full use of the terrain to trap and kill these guys. It's so scary. Unable to help but shudder, Tsunade smiled bitterly. Luo Chuan smiled lightly and said, these are all enemies. Since they are enemies, don't treat them as human beings. Just think of them as Sao Chi. Although the tone was very calm, Tsunade could clearly feel the murderous intent and chill in it. It was the coldness that he felt from his bones. The water flow in the depression has gradually calmed down, and the brown water is covered with corpses, badly mutilated. Some ninja corpses have sunk into the water and are sleeping here. There were only a few ninjas left who were luckier to survive, but they had lost their combat effectiveness and were lingering on the water. Call out. Luo Chuan jumped up and rushed to the water, using more than a dozen kunai to end the lives of these ninjas without any hesitation. At this point, the 800 ninjas of the Grass Ninja Village had completely lost their lives in this depression, and the leader of the Grass Ninja Village had no idea what was happening here. Those Konoha shinobi who saw Luo Chuan take action took a breath of cold air. Many of them were not convinced before. Why can Luo Chuan, a brat, be able to lead an army? But looking at it now, with his ingenious strategies and ruthless methods, can he fully bear this burden? Master Luo Chuan is really terrifying and his methods are ruthless. Fortunately, Master Luo Chuan is one of our own. If he were an enemy, I'm afraid we would have died without a burial place. The ninjas of Konoha secretly rejoiced that if Luo Chuan was really an enemy, then it was probably them who were killed in this depression. After dealing with all the ninjas in the Grass Ninja Village, Luo Chuan returned to Tsunade and said, "Now you lead the troops first, and I will go to the Grass Ninja Village." "What are you doing in the Grass Ninja Village? You can't be." Thinking of what Luo Chuan had done in Cloud Shinobi Village before, she seemed to have thought of something and became nervous. Now is the time of war. If Luo Chuan goes alone, he is very likely to be discovered by the Grass Ninja, 013. Then he will face the siege of the Grass Ninja and fall into a dangerous situation. However, Luo Chuan is still very confident in his heart. If the leader of the Grass Ninja is not strong enough, it will be easy for him to kill him. As for those ordinary Grass Ninjas, at worst, they would spend some chakra and use dust release to kill them all. He is still very clear about the principle of cutting weeds without eradicating the roots, and the spring breeze will bring new growth. If the Grass Ninja Village is not completely eliminated now, the Grass Ninja Village will also become a threat to Konoha in the future. Even if they are still allies on the surface, they must want to deal with Konoha in their hearts. Because today's Konoha has killed more than 1,000 ninjas of the Grass Ninja Village has been damaged, and this hatred is unlikely to subside. Seeing Tsunade's nervous look, Luo Chuan smiled lightly and said, "What? You care about me? Go, I'm just worried that if you die by then, there will be no one to lead the supply transportation force. Now that you are in my team, I can't bear this kind of responsibility." Now here, Luo Chuan is also the leader of an army, and his status is no lower than Tsunade's. If he causes problems here, then Tsunade will also bear a certain responsibility, and he will be punished when the time comes. Of course, is she really worried about this matter in her heart? Obviously, that is not the most worrying thing, maybe it is out of another feeling. Luo Chuan did not reveal her inner thoughts, but said, "The power of Sao Ninja Village is now empty, and a large number of ninjas have been dispatched here. And because of the short time, Sao Ninja Village does not know what is going on here. So at this time if you go to the Grass Ninja Village, it is very safe and there will not be any danger. I am just attacking the Grass Ninja Village. As for how much damage I can bring to them, it depends on their luck." After saying that, he stopped staying and used Chen escape to shuttle quickly. Tsunade looked at the direction he left and stretched out his hand, but in the end he couldn't stop him. Reluctantly retracting his hand, Tsunade pouted and said, "What a disobedient brother, at least let me finish what I said. Humph, I will teach you a lesson when you come back." Seemingly determined, Tsunade led the troops to move forward and follow the position Luo Chuan said. After this incident, she had no objection to Luo Chuan's choice. Luo Chuan was able to use strategies to trap so many ninjas in the Grass Ninja Village, and he could predict that the Grass Ninja would definitely act, which in itself proved his resourcefulness. In addition, the strange feeling in her heart also made her instinctively believe that this boy was much younger than her, and he was a boy who had declared her belonging. It didn't take long for Luo Chuan to arrive at the Sao Ninja Village. His purpose at this moment was to destroy the Sao Ninja Village and make the Sao Ninja Village disappear from this world forever. As for whether the disappearance of the Grass Ninja Village would cause changes in the world, he no longer paid attention to it. The gears of destiny of this world have changed, everything is heading towards 10 paths. The leader of Kusanagi village is still waiting in his office building. The message conveyed to Tsuchikage has been fed back. Iwagakure will soon send a force here to support him. Together, we will wipe out Konoha's troops entering the land of grass. As long as Iwagakure's ninjas arrive, and they cooperate with those ninjas who went to sneak attack before, no matter how many strong men in Konoha come, they will be able to kill them in the end. Especially the news that came out from Konoha made him secretly happy, but he didn't know that it was just a smoke bomb released by Luo Chuan. Luo Chuan's smoke bomb was pretended to be someone from Iwagakure who attacked the Konoha troops, and it seemed that the Kusakunin village was not suspected. This is the best thing for the leaders of the Grass Ninja village. As long as there is no suspicion on their heads, then they can launch another attack. Even after the attack was unsuccessful, the agreement between Kusanagi village and Konoha would not be broken. It would still be an alliance between the villages. Of course, the premise is that he hides everything. When will the ninjas from Iwagakure arrive? Hey, it might have to wait until tomorrow. I hope I can make it in time. Now Konoha's troops seem to be marching towards the territory of Earth Kingdom. If the ninjas of Iwagakure cannot sense it in time, once they enter the territory of Earth Kingdom and lurk, it will be much more difficult to find them, and it is likely to be delayed. Fighter plane. He was secretly thinking about countermeasures, but he didn't know that a slightly young figure was looking at the office building at this moment. Kusa Ninja Village, just disappear forever. A cold smile appeared on the corner of Luo Chuan's mouth. He aimed his hands below, and shouted, "Chen, escape, everything is gone." As he finished speaking, a mysterious energy swayed from his body. With his body as the center, it quickly expanded to 360 degrees in all directions. This force continued to spread, and in an instant it had spread over a distance of thousands of meters. With the emergence of this power, the ninjas in Kusanagi village suddenly felt a very strange feeling, and the chakra in their bodies seemed to be disappearing rapidly. However, when they saw it clearly, they were shocked. The surrounding buildings, trees, spaces, and even their bodies are rapidly decomposing and dissipating. In just 1 minute, this small grass ninja village was completely annihilated by this blow. A ninja village was completely annihilated in this silence. The leader of the grass ninja village in the office building could not even react. In his frightened eyes, everything around him disappeared. Due to his upgraded dust escape characteristics, the souls of these people were all decomposed, and there was never the possibility of resurrection. What a terrifying power this is, what a frightening power. A village completely disappeared with one strike from him. This may sound like an exaggeration, but it is not an exaggeration. He spent a lot of chakra. If he still couldn't achieve this step, he would really have failed. Think about Uzumaki Nagato. He was able to use the power of the Rinnegan to blast Konoha into pieces, and he was naturally able to use the power of the transformation dust released to destroy the Kusanagi village. After destroying the ninja village, Luo Chuan breathed a sigh of relief and quickly chased in the direction of Tsunade and others. Destroying such a ninja village was not something he cared about, it was like something not worth mentioning. More than an hour later, he caught up with Tsunade and others and followed the large army. It was also at this time in that some Iwagakure ninjas came to the location of the grass ninja village. However, looking at the empty place in front of them, they were a little confused. "Teacher, what's going on? The Kusanagi village is here, why didn't you see it? There is nothing here, no ground, no trees, no buildings, it's like an abyss." A rock shinobi Jonin frowned and said after hearing the student's words, "I know this is the grass ninja village, but obviously, this grass ninja village has been destroyed. Someone got here before us. Evacuate immediately and inform the troops not to come over." Quote. Yes, these rock shinobi quickly retreated to the rear without any reason. Here at Luo Chuan, after a continuous journey, they finally entered the territory of the Kingdom of Earth and lurked in the forest he had originally planned. More than 500 ninjas lurk in a wide forest. The dense vegetation provides them with a good hiding place, making it difficult to detect their location. Luo Chuan was still with Tsunade, and at the same time some Jonin were called over by him. After formulating the plan in detail, these Jonin returned and explained the plan. The mission of the branch unit is to stage Iwagakure's supply transport troops, cutting off their supply routes so that the ninjas who enter the battlefield lose their bedside support. If you lose logistical support on the battlefield, it will definitely be a terrifying thing. They will face embarrassments such as a lack of tools, medical supplies, and food. At that time, if they cannot wait for supplies for a long time, the will of the ninja may be destroyed, resulting in no intention to fight, thus changing their fate. I lurked in this forest for a day, during which I also encountered some Iwagakure troops. They marched quickly towards the land of rain. However, Luo Chuan and the others did not take action, but allowed these ninjas to pass by without causing any trouble. Thousands of ninjas passed by before and after. Luo Chuan carefully judged these ninjas, and at the same time, his white eyes were also judging the strength. Iwagakure is worthy of being one of the 5 major ninja villages. There are a large number of elite ninjas among the ninjas passing by, including elite Chunin, Jonin, and elite Jonin. Of course, there are also many cannon fodder ninjas. The so-called cannon fodder ninjas are basically genin, or some fledglings who have just graduated from endurance training. Their combat effectiveness is very weak, but they can still play a little role on the battlefield. At least they can attract the enemy's firepower and consume the enemy's chakra. War is cruel, and cannon fodder cannot change his own destiny and can only be at the mercy of senior officials. With nothing to do, Tsunade started chatting with Luo Chuan again, which was her way of passing the time here. Brother, how did you practice to become such a monster? When I was the same age as you, I was a genin, and I was also very weak. Her strength was not achieved overnight, but was gained through slow cultivation, which is essentially different from Luo Chuan. She does not have any blood inheritance limit. She did not inherit the wood style of the first generation, nor the powerful water style of the second generation. On the contrary, she has her own unique power, which is strange power. She is definitely a violent beauty, and her fighting style is also straightforward, destroying the enemy directly from the body, and she basically uses close combat. Therefore, her physical skills are still very strong. But one thing is that her physical strength is similar to that of other ninjas. They are all relatively fragile and not as strong as those of Hokage. Looking at Luo Chuan's cultivation speed so fast, he is a 10-year-old quasi-ying, and he is also the best among quasi-ying. It is really heaven-defying. And, no one knows whether he will break through again this year. If he could really break through again, Tsunade would have the urge to kill him with a piece of tofu. People are more infuriating than others. A genius who is superior to genius, the path he takes is naturally different from other people. That's how you cultivated yourself. Maybe there's something special about it. Luo Chuan's voice was a little softer. Now that there were only 2 of them, he naturally didn't need to be too cold. Tsunade has already developed a strong curiosity about him, and his fall will be a matter of time. Ah, does this count as an answer? Wait, what is the special place you are talking about? Tsunade was dissatisfied when he heard the first sentence, but when he heard the second sentence, he seemed to have some secrets. This secret cannot be revealed casually. Are you telling me secrets? Come on, tell me quickly. Tsunade started acting coquettishly again. Luo Chuan felt happy and said, okay, then this will be a little secret between the 2 of us. You have to keep it a secret. Aha, Tsunade nodded like a green onion. The little secret between the 2 of them, what an interesting thing. Luo Chuan approached her and whispered in her ear, when I was practicing, I just wanted to increase my strength quickly so that I could stand with you earlier and embrace the beauty earlier. That's it. Quote. You are not good. Master Tsunade, Master Luo Chuan, intercepted a piece of information. A captain came to the 2 of them and handed over a piece of information. They had been lurking for 2 days. After seeing a large number of rock shinobi heading to the land of rain, Luo Chuan and others knew that the supply transport force should be on the scene next. Soon, the army should pass through here. At that time, a surprise attack will be launched to destroy the army and cut off this route. As for how to cut off the route, Luo Chuan already has a plan in mind. Spreading out the information, Luo Chuan looked at it and then handed it to Tsunade, saying, it seems to be similar to what we expected. Iwagakure's logistics force will be out soon, and we are almost ready to take action. After reading it, Tsunade nodded and said, yes, I have been waiting for 2 days and I can finally do some exercise. There are still more than 4 hours left, I really want to see those rock shinobi. Can the defense block my fist? Tsunade smiled and waved his little fists, full of violent tendencies. Luo Chuan shook his head secretly, Tsunade's violence penetrated into his bones, and it was impossible to change it. Don't be too happy too early. Although this intelligence explains the actions of Iwagaker's logistics force, didn't you notice? This intelligence also mentioned something, that is, the large number of weapons carried by Iwagaker's logistics force. This time most of them are ninja tools, and there are very few medical items. There are very few medical supplies. Tsunade seemed to have just realized it and carefully checked the information. It was indeed the same as what Luo Chuan said. A large number of medical items are needed on the battlefield, and half of the basic logistics troops carry medical items. However, current medical supplies only account for 1/10. The rest are all ninja tools, which is a bit weird. How so? Tsunade doesn't understand. This is completely illogical. What is Iwagaker thinking? Still confused. There are very few medical supplies, which means Iwagaker believes that their personnel consumption will not be too much. But, how do they think that their personnel consumption will not be too much on the battlefield? Where does such strong confidence come from? This is a question worth studying. I have an idea that it is very likely that after the ninjas of Iwagaker entered the Kingdom of Rain, they did not fight Konoha or Sunagaku immediately, nor did they break out a conflict with Rain Shinobi Village. They are preparing. As for what they are preparing for, it is unknown. Luo Chuan thought for a while. Iwagaker's actions are too strange now, and this matter still needs to be investigated clearly. Then what should we do now? Investigate directly, or continue to wait here? The investigation must be carried out. Send 2 teams to investigate. Remember, don't get too close. You must ensure your personal safety. Then, under his order, 2 teams set off, with a total of 20 ninjas. We must proceed as planned. Rock Shinobi on the front line needs to use a lot of ninja tools, so we must intercept these ninja tools this time. Well, look at the map again. As he spoke, he opened the map again, and now more detailed planning must be carried out to ensure that Iwagaker's supplies can be intercepted. After looking at the map carefully, and considering their current geographical location, there didn't seem to be anything wrong with it, but he always felt that something was a little wrong, but he couldn't say what was wrong. Wait, more than 4 hours. Something's wrong. Why does the intelligence emphasize more than 4 hours? The strange thing is this information. Generally, information does not reveal too detailed time, especially when it comes to transporting supplies. What they said was basically an approximate time point, especially during the war. They simply could not guarantee when the supplies would be delivered. But now this information says very firmly that it lasted more than 4 hours. Let's take a closer look at this place. How long does it take to get to this forest from Iwagaker? That's more than 4 hours. The logistics force spent more than 4 hours coming to this forest. What did they want to do in the end? Is it camping here? No kidding, this is definitely not right. Tsunade, there is something wrong with this. This information should be false. It may be to confuse us and make us wait here for more than 4 hours. When Luo Chuan said this, Tsunade also noticed that something was wrong with the information. After all, she had a certain amount of time in her ninja career, and she quickly understood it. Let us wait here for more than 4 hours, but what we waited for in the end was not Iwagaker's logistics troops, but their firepower troops. And their logistics troops reached the land of rain through another route. After Tsunade said these words, Luo Chuan took a deep breath and said, "Yes, that's it." A piece of confusing information. Luo Chuan was secretly glad that he had discovered it early, otherwise he might have been deceived. The enemies will also have their own strategies. They are unlikely to rush straight into the Kingdom of Rain, so they may take a detour. In addition to the Kingdom of Earth, the other countries bordering the Kingdom of Rain are the Kingdom of Grass, the Kingdom of Birds, and the Kingdom of Rain. The Country of Wind, the Country of Rivers, and the Country of Fire. The Country of Grass is impossible, and the Country of Wind is impossible. The Country of Rivers can basically be ruled out, and the Country of Fire is even more impossible. So, now there is only one bird country left. Luo Chuan pointed his finger at the location of bird country with a serious expression. Let's go. Evacuate immediately to avoid collision with Iwagaker's firepower troops. Now rush to the Country of Birds, intercept Iwagaker's logistics troops, and leave them confused for a while. Tsunade nodded and said, "Move the entire army and eliminate traces." At that moment, more than 500 ninjas took action again and rushed to the Kingdom of Birds. After spending half a day and marching in a hurry, we finally arrived at the border area between the Kingdom of Earth and the Kingdom of Birds, and saw the long troops. Finally caught up. Now, get ready to attack the Iwagakure logistics force. Among the teams in front, about 300 ninjas wearing Iwagakure forehead protectors were slowly advancing. Each of them carried a huge scroll on their back. There were also some vehicles, and the vehicles were heavy cargo. Here is a small road with cliffs on the left and cliffs on the right. The mountain road is very narrow and can only accommodate 3 people walking side by side. About 200 meters apart, Luo Chuan immediately ordered all the ninjas to take action and climbed onto the cliff, waiting for the ninjas to approach. Iwagakure was led by a middle-aged ninja in his 40s. After traveling 100 meters, he stopped. He seemed to have noticed a strange aura. He looked left and right, and finally looked up at the sky. However, there was nothing wrong in the sky above. Luo Chuan's white eyes were able to notice his observation. Fortunately, Konoha's ninjas were very good at hiding, otherwise they might really be discovered. The middle-aged ninja shook his head secretly after not noticing anything unusual, and said, "It seems that he is too nervous. How could there be an ambush in the Kingdom of Birds?" And just when he lowered his head, Luo Chuan shouted, "Action!" In an instant, more than 500 ninjas stood up, and their ninjutsu bombarded them instantly. Earth-style mudslide. Brown mudslides poured down from the cliffs, bombarded with rock shinobi that thought they were safe. Luo Chuan also formed a quick seal, and a ninjutsu was quickly formed. Fire-style. The fire is extinguished. The chakra condensed into the throat, the chest bulged, and it was spurted out in a fierce breath. A pillar of fire flew out immediately, and quickly divided into a very wide flame, rushing towards the ninjas below. The flames arrive almost instantly, and the power of this powerful fire-style ninjutsu is beyond what ordinary ninjas can withstand. There are some strong jonin among the rock shinobi logistics team, but when faced with this sudden technique, they were a little panicked. Unable to resist, time no longer allowed them to use ninjutsu. Retreat. The middle-aged ninja shouted before, and some ninjas farther away from the flames immediately retreated back, but the place was too narrow, which caused inconvenience to their movements. HMPH, God is going to destroy you, so you can't blame me. Luo Chuan smiled coldly and continued to output chakra. This high-temperature flame can melt even some ninja tools. AJDH. These ninjas were first hit by mudslides, and now they were burned by flames. Under 2 different attacks, some ninjas' bodies turned into pottery figurines and finally broke into pieces. And more ninjas were directly burned to death by the flames. There were flames everywhere on this mountain road. After finishing the ninjutsu, Tsunade beside him was already stunned. Even among the Uchiha clan, very few people can use such a powerful fire-style ninjutsu. However, now Luo Chuan, a genius from the Hyuga clan, has used this kind of ninjutsu. Isn't this a slap in the face of the Uchiha clan? You are so evil. You can use fire-style ninjutsu so smoothly and with such power. It makes me want to learn these ninjutsu. Tsunade was envious. Luo Chuan was not only a grandmaster in taijutsu, but also seemed to be quite accomplished in ninjutsu. If you want to learn, just wait until the war is over and I will teach you. I'm sure you will learn it quickly. However, there is a price to pay. The price? What price? You will know when the time comes. Now, kill these guys first, get their supplies, and see how their supplies are distributed. Okay, let's go. Tsunade jumped down immediately after hearing this and punched the nearest ninja without saying a word. Boom! The body of the ninja who was hit flew out and fell down the cliff. There was obviously no possibility of survival. Later, Tsunade attacked those ninjas again. She was like a tiger rushing into a herd of sheep, and no ninja could stop her. Even when those jonin rushed through, they were directly blasted away by her fists, breaking through their proud defense. Her aura was very fierce, and when she fought, she kept unleashing her strange power. With every punch she landed, there was a landslide in the mountain road, and the ground was completely smashed by her fists. The ninjas who were hit were even more miserable, with their internal organs directly shattered. Luo Chuan was sweating coldly when he saw it, and suddenly he was a little lucky. At least Tsunade didn't treat him like this. Otherwise, if it happened unexpectedly, it would definitely be enough for him. What a violent girlfriend. Fortunately, her heart has. Thinking of this, Luo Chuan felt relieved in his heart. Tsunade would only belong to him and no longer to anyone else. At that moment, he also joined the battle and charged into the enemy ninjas. Gentle Fist Method 8 trigrams 128 palms. A very powerful physical technique was used, and chakra gushes out from every acupuncture point in the body. In an instant, palm shadows flew on the mountain road, like a strong wind, which made those ninjas feel uncomfortable all over, and it was even more difficult to mobilize chakra. Byakugan Double Revolving Heaven. After a powerful move, Luo Chuan's double revolving heaven quickly unfolded, his body rotated in place at high speed, chakra was released from the acupuncture points, forming two shields. But then something different from usual happened. Luo Chuan's body in the shield was seen moving forward, and the shield also rushed forward. This time, the double revolving heaven actually has the ability to move. Changing the application of ninjutsu and taijutsu is one of the things he enjoys most, as it allows him to have more skills in fighting. In just 10 minutes, 300 Iwagakure ninjas were killed one after another under the strong attack of him and Tsunade, leaving corpses lying on the mountain road for hundreds of meters. Collect all the supplies, confirm whether the enemy is dead, and then destroy the bodies. Yes, Konoha Shinobi acted quickly, and Luo Chuan laughed. From the beginning of the war to now, it seems that his battle has been going smoothly. Could it be that this is the blessing of the goddess of luck? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.